Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 21 of Passion Project, the variety show that encourages anyone in the speedrunning and gaming communities to showcase the projects that they've been working on. My name is Amber Cyprin. I will be your host tonight, and I encourage everyone out there, if you have a speedrun or, a gaming project to showcase, you should submit it. Whether it is your current, not necessarily submit it, but, tell me about it. I want to know about it. If it is your current favorite game to grind runs for, a new category or game that you've been routing out, a task you just finished, randomizers, bingos, you name it, it belongs here on this show. And honestly, more power to you if you are doing what we're doing tonight here on Passion Project. So, before we get started with the showcase that we have planned for tonight, we do have a couple of announcements. First and foremost, if you want to learn about Hotfix and check out our schedule, you should go to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix. You'll learn about all of our shows and check out our schedule there. And GDQ's next all-women and femme speedrunning event, Frost Fatales, is coming up March 3rd through the 10th. The schedule is out now, so use !FF in Twitch chat to learn more. Remote volunteer submissions and prize submissions are now open, so go to gamesdonequick.com/Frame Fatales for more information. So, tonight here on Passion Project, we're joined by TGH, who you're going to hear me call Jay for the rest of the night. I apologize in advance. And Jacob Littner as we dive into the wonderful world of competitive Pokemon. The official competitive format of VGC, or Video Game Championships, is a pretty daunting subject, but these experts that I have here tonight, along with myself, are here to help make the subject as approachable as possible. We have a slideshow, we have team breakdowns, we have exhibition matches planned out for y'all, and at the end of the show, we'll take some chat Q&A as well as we wrap up. So think of this as though it's a bonus panel that could have been at this past AGDQ. Jay and Jacob, thank you both so much for being here. How are you two doing tonight?
Doing great.
I'm riding the high of being called an expert in Pokemon.
Same.
So I'm feeling awesome.
Honestly, it's I'm not so sure about that, but we're here to have fun today. Hi, everybody. I'm TGH. I am a former speedrunner turned VGC player as of very late. I've been playing VGC now for about a year, and I am joined by my co-commentator.
Oh, and my name is Jacob. You might see me as Linty online in tournaments. I have been playing VGC, competitive Pokemon, for about, 2.5 years at this point. And it is really all that I spend my free time doing, and I'm so excited to be here and just talk about that with y'all tonight.
Yeah, for sure. So this is basically just going to be like an intro slash crash course slash exhibition about VGC. So if you've ever wanted to get into VGC, or say you've seen a stream and it was hard to follow a match or something, or you think it looks interesting but just don't know where to start, this might be a good place for you to start. Alright, so we have a lovely slideshow here that was made by Amber, our lovely host, of course. So yeah, welcome to Pokemon VGC. We are here to welcome you, once again, to the world of competitive Pokemon. So who are we? I mean, we've kind of already gone over this, but I am a former speedrunner turned aspiring VGC player. I am dedicated to improving myself and having fun while doing it. And I'm also sad. A fun fact about me, I'm sad that Wooper is not competitively viable in VGC, at least as we know it right now.
It's facts.
Yes. Jacob?
Yeah, I mean, you can see right there, I will always claim the title of world's #1 Screamtail fan. This Pokemon is, I'd call it the perfect Pokemon. It has 0 attacking stats, it is purely bulk and support, and it's wonderful. And I'm sure, if anyone who has ever played me with Screamtail will agree that, it's a very fair, very balanced Pokemon. It's a lot of fun to use. I'm currently on Team Massachusetts for USPA. It's the United States Pokemon Association, a team draft league that pits every state or region in the United States against every other one. And it's very, very exciting. Massachusetts, we are 2-0 on the season so far, having a great time. And, team building strategies, I think that first and foremost, every team should have at least one
Oh, absolutely. And hi, I already introduced myself, but my name is Amber Cyprin. I'm the host of this show, and I'm a very casual dabbler in the VGC scene. I love Trick Room, Ghost Types, and Bad Ideas very much, and I was most active from 2009 to 2013, so that's about Gen 4 Pokemon Platinum to about Generation 6 Pokemon X and Y. I dropped out shortly after X and Y was introduced because I couldn't make Trick Room work the way I wanted to. So...
Yeah,
we did.
Amber, sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
We did lose our commentator for a moment. I think we're good now, though. Yes. So we'll have Linty rejoin us in just a moment. Basically, Jacob really loves Screamtail and really believes that teams should be funny, aesthetically pleasing, and good in that order. Most importantly, you should be having fun. But, that being said, I think we can move on to what is on the schedule today.
So what is on the schedule today? We have, first off, what is VGC? And we will get to this as we go along the future slides here. What are the rules of VGC? What are some common VGC terms? Team Building 101 will show you ways to go about building a team. A team breakdown with my team that I typically use, at least in Regulation F, and we'll get to what that means later as well. We'll go into the difference between closed team sheet and open team sheets. And last but not least, we will have a closing question and answer section with the chat, and also closing remarks. Okay, so first off, what even is VGC? VGC is the official tournament circuit for competitive Pokemon. It's as simple as that. VGC stands for Video Game Championships, and it's kind of become, like, the abbreviation has kind of become synonymous a little bit with competitive Pokemon. Like, it's that popularly used in competitive Pokemon. It is played using the doubles format. Meaning you bring 4 Pokemon and you send 2 out, and you have 2 Pokemon out at the same time, and you have a 2v2, essentially, a 2 versus 2. It is also available to play in-game via the online ranked ladder for double battles, or Battle Stadium, as it's called as well, in the ranked battle section. So what are the rules? The rules of VGC. The basic rules are, of course, all matches are double battles. Like I just explained. All Pokemon are auto-leveled to level 50. It's kind of weird how the stats work, because stats are scaled back to level 50 if you're over level 50, or forward to level 50, or to what they would be at level 50, given the investment in those stats, and we will get to those very soon. There is quite a bit to get into about that.
Yeah, so no level 1 Focus Sash Rattata with Endeavor here.
Unfortunately, no. Actually, yeah, fortunately, no. Yeah. You may not use multiple of the same species of Pokemon or held items on your team, otherwise known as the Species Clause or the Item Clause. I believe that they are commonly known as. Like I said earlier as well, each player selects 4 out of the 6 Pokemon on their battle team, and you don't have to have 6 Pokemon, I guess, technically speaking, but you really do kind of want to have 6. I have definitely seen teams on the ladder, on the in-game ranked ladder, with less than 6, and those people are pretty cool. I suppose you can't use bag items, like you can't like use a potion in the middle of a fight. It would be kind of funny if you could, but not quite. VGC battles have timers to be aware of as well, and those are team preview, so you have 1 minute and 30 seconds or 90 seconds to view your opponent's team. Typically, you have a move time limit of 45 seconds per move, beginning when the end of the last move happened and everything plays out. You have a player total time limit called your time in game of about 7 minutes as well, or exactly 7 minutes, not about, there is no about that. And a total game time of 20 minutes. So the way your time works is if you run out of time, if you run out of your time, you lose the game, right? If neither player runs out of what's called your time, the game time is exceeded of 20 minutes, it goes down to whichever team, I believe it goes down to whichever team has the most HP at the end of game time.
Yes.
20 minutes, yes. Okay, so whoever has the most HP total throughout all of the Pokemon on their team that are still alive, or still, not KO'd. Next up, all right, we have common VGC terminology. This is where things can get, I'm sure if you've ever watched a VGC stream, you have questions about some of the terms that are used. Right away, we have VGC. We've explained VGC. Video Game Championships are the official competitive Pokemon format. We have TPCI, or the Pokemon Company International, which is responsible for running and supporting official events around the world, like regional events throughout North America, Europe, and the world. And the World Championships as well as and also the international championships, like North America International, European International, Oceania, Latin America International, etc. Format, the rules and regulations by which all official tournaments follow. Format is very typically used, I think, alongside the word season. Season is the competitive circuit's 12-month period that begins in September and ends in August the following year, culminating in the annual World Championships. Now, the word season, or the term season, can also, in the Battle Stadium, it goes by monthly periods instead. So, right now, we are in Season 14 in the ranked battles in Battle Stadium, and we are currently still in what, by this logic, we would be in Season 2, I guess. It goes more by regulations. So, right now, we're currently in Regulation F in the official format, or the official sanctioned scene right now. We have championship points. Points are awarded to the top ranking players at every sanctioned VGC event, and players who have a certain amount of championship points by the end of a season will be awarded invitations to the World Championships, and it resets to 0 at the end of the season. Right now, if you are a player in North America, you need 500 championship points to qualify for the World Championships, which is in Honolulu this year. If you are in Europe, it's 400, because they have a different amount of tournaments in Europe. They have a different amount of they have less regional tournaments to get points at, so they do have a lower threshold over there for tournaments. Metagame. So a set of Pokemon commonly seen within a format, usually centralizing it. And you'll hear me and also us basically use this term quite a bit once we actually get started, especially with playing. If something is a meta threat or, is a very common Pokemon in the metagame currently, this is what we are referring to. And for more extensive terminology, you can check out that link right there. Anything to add to this, Jacob?
And returning Pokemon in the part 2 of the DLC, the Blueberry, the Indigo Disc, was the name of it. And so that, can really shake things up from season to season. Typically those formats last about 3 months, and on, I believe it's April 1st. Actually, no, I think it's May 1st. This goes through the end of April. May 1st is confirmed. We will have Regulation G, but they just haven't announced what that rule set is going to be yet.
Yeah, and sometimes they wait a pretty long time to actually officially say what the Pokemon that are allowed are going to be. I remember that was a little bit of a thing come Regulation F, but generally, a lot of people's guesses were correct in that it was just Indigo Disc Pokemon banning Pokemon like Terapagos and Pecharon, of course, which wasn't even a thing yet come the beginning of Regulation F.
Yeah,
so,
Pecharon is a mythical, so Pecharon will never be legal for VGC.
Yeah.
But Terapagos and Miraidon and Koraidon are still not legal yet. There are a bunch of different formats, like Jacob had touched on at one point. There is right now we're in our restricted formats where like things like box legendaries, like Kyogre, Groudon, Rayquaza, and of course the titular Koraidon, Miraidon of this generation, along with Terrapagos, are not legal at all. But a Pokemon like Ogerpon, which was the star of the Teal Mask DLC for Generation 9, is legal. I don't make the rules.
Yeah, I don't.
Something to do with the power level. Who's to say?
Yeah, something like that. Okay, so now to get into some battle-specific terminology. And this might be some of what trips some people up if they've ever watched a VGC stream. And people talk about, for instance, or the casters talk about stuff like stab, or same type attack bonus, the 50% damage increase of a move when used by a Pokemon that shares a type with it. It's pretty simple. So say you have a water type who uses Surf, for instance. First water type move that came to my mind for whatever reason. Surf has a power of 95. Say it had a power of 100. That's a bad example. Say it had a power of 100. That 100 would become 150. For instance, Ivy Cudgel on Water Ogerpon, for instance, is a 100 power water move. That would become 150. Basically, the game doesn't reflect that in any mathematical way besides just doing it with the damage calculation. So that is important to understand. Matchup describes the advantage or disadvantage of a given team against any other team or Pokemon. You'll hear us use that word a lot as well. This is a good matchup for us. This is a bad matchup. This is a pretty neutral matchup, for instance. Outspeed, or otherwise known as speed tiers. So a Pokemon outspeeds another one when it is faster, when it has the higher speed stat. Speed is determined by a lot of factors. Oh, sorry, I thought there was a sub point there. So, a lot of factors given, factors like, for instance, whether that Pokemon is affected by Tailwind from your own side, whether your speed stat has been dropped. So say, like, for instance, a Pokemon uses Scary Face, which lowers your speed by 2 stages, or Pokemon uses Icy Wind, which lowers your speed by 1 stage. A Pokemon will be slower. I believe it's 0.67 or 2/3 of a Pokemon's speed. Like so say a Pokemon has 100 speed, right? If you use Icy Wind on it, it will have 67 speed. If you use Scary Face on it, it'll have 50 speed. Pretty sure that's how it works with speed.
Yes,
but
yeah, those are right.
But speed control is also very important, and things to consider later. We'll talk about that later in the team building basics. But target. So the target of an attack is the receiving end of it. Single target moves can only hit the selected foe, whilst double target or spread moves can hit both opponents. So, for instance, you have a Fluttermane on the field. Fluttermane uses Moonblast. That's a single target attack. It only hits one Pokemon on the other side of the field. Fluttermane also has a move called Dazzling Gleam, which hits both of the Pokemon on the other side of the field. However, it is a weaker attack because it is a spread move. It's also lower base power, but even if it were the same base power, it would do less damage to either target because it's a spread move. I believe the factor is 0.75 for attack power on spread moves versus single target. Set, or set of matches, as people might call it as well. A battle is also known as a game or a match. When playing at events, the number of battles played in each set depends on the tournament structure and will always be announced before it starts. Typically, at sanctioned events, they are best of 3, or you play a set of 3 matches. At, say, for instance, some mid-season showdowns that are held alongside tournaments at regionals or otherwise sanctioned events, those are best of 1 a lot of the time, just to save time. But yeah, best of 3 is normally what is played at regionals or internationals or worlds. We just kind of went over this best of 1 / best of 3, or versus best of 3, abbreviation for best of 1 is an abbreviation for I'm sorry, BO1 is an abbreviation for best of 3, and BO3 is an abbreviation of best of 3. Did I mess it up? Okay.
You were just saying best of 1 is an abbreviation for best of 1.
Yeah. That's not correct. BO1 is an abbreviation for best of 1. There we go. And BO3 is an abbreviation of best of 3. There we go, we got there. It refers to the number of games used to decide the winner of a set of battles between 2 players. Best of 3 is the most common scenario, and again, is most commonly used in sanctioned events. Mid-game / late game is pretty self-explanatory. Mid-game is the state of the game after the first 2 or 3 turns or so, whereas late game refers to the last few turns of a game, for instance. And you'll hear us say that as well, like we'll plan for a late game, or we will set ourselves up advantageously in a mid-game, so on and so forth. Damage roll. Okay, so attacks do not deal a fixed amount of damage unless they are specified to, and really, we probably won't have to worry about that too much unless we see like a Tinglu on the field or something with Ruination. But damage dealing attacks normally do not inflict a specific constant amount every time they are used. Since the exact amount dealt depends on probabilities, the range is known as a roll and has its lower ends and higher ends. Typically, it's not too large. Yeah, it's not too. It'll differ like for just a few, unless it's a super high damage dealing move. In which case, the range will of course be higher. And of course, for more extensive terminology, you can visit that same website at victoryroadvgc.com. If either of you have anything to add to what I said besides the correction on BO1 and BO3, you may any additions to this?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just understanding damage rolls. You know, there is a lot of RNG that goes into competitive Pokemon, and damage ranges are the biggest one. Like Jay said, typically, for the vast majority of attacks you'll see, it's not terribly wide. It's usually about a 10% range. So an attack on a given Pokemon might do anywhere from 75 to 85%. Again, unless it is something that's extremely strong or extremely weak, those ranges might be bigger or lower, respectively. But the kind of randomness of damage in games is something that you really have to take into account when you're planning for your game state as you go on, and especially whenever you're deciding how to train your Pokemon before you even start the battle. Whenever you're picking out your team and doing things like that, trying to mitigate some of the RNG, the random number generation in Pokemon, is I think one of the biggest skills that has such a steep learning curve. But once you're able to kind of think about those kinds of things, both in the team builder and when you're actually playing the game, things just become so much easier.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Anything else to add?
No, I think we're good.
All right, cool. Okay, moving on to team building basics, or team building 101. So first and foremost, I think one of the more important things about team building is you want to think about the intention behind your choices, or have an intention behind your decisions and choices. So for instance, maybe you want to build around a mechanic that you think is really strong. So for instance, if you think that, for instance, if you have Arcaladon, right? One of the new Pokemon introduced in the Indigo Disc DLC, the evolution of Duraludon from Gen 8. You might think that, actually, does? Yeah. For instance, this is not like any sort of practical thing, but say like a Pokemon that has Iron Defense and Body Press. So Body Press benefits a lot, of course, from Iron Defense. So Iron Defense raises your defense by 2, and then Body Press deals more damage on top of the defense boost that you get. You might think that mechanic is really strong, and you want to build a team around that. Actually, the last bullet point here kind of talks about that, but we will get to that as well. You want to consider as well metagame threats. There's that term again, metagame threats. So, for instance, if you want your team to be very anti-Fluttermane or anti-Chien-Pao, which are 2 very popular Pokemon in the metagame right now, you might want, say, for instance, a Registeel. A Registeel with Iron Defense Body Press. Maybe Registeel was a better example there for that first one. But yeah, Registeel is a very good Pokemon to deal with at least Fluttermane, Chien-Pao less so. But like if your team's anti-Fluttermane, then Registeel is probably a pretty good mon to add to that, because it deals pretty well with it. You want to try to include Pokemon that have good synergy with each other. And this reminds me of cores in Pokemon. So there are a couple different types of cores and a couple different common types of cores that have to do with the synergy between the typings of those Pokemon. So for instance, like Fire, Water, Grass core, those three typings, anybody who's played Pokemon has a choice between, say for instance, Gen 1, Charmander, Bulbasaur, Squirtle. And you know that they each have different advantages versus different types. The same exact thing, of course, goes for competitive Pokemon, where, having a fire Pokemon, a water Pokemon, and a grass Pokemon all together, they work pretty well synergistically, if that's a word, with each other, type-wise. Defensively as well as offensively. Fairy, Dragon, Steel is another really common type of trio or synergistic core. I still don't know if that's a word, but I'm going to use it. Covering...
No, it's a word.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
Sure. Covering for weaknesses as well. A little bit of... Yeah, so again, covering for weaknesses that are common on your team. So for instance, if your team... I'm going to bring Fluttermane up as an example. Again, if your team is weak to Fluttermane, consider adding a Pokemon that deals really well with Fluttermane. The first one that comes to mind for me is Heatran. Sure. So yeah, if you feel like your team is not very good into Fluttermane, consider adding something that deals well with Fluttermane. Enabling one or more Pokemon as well with with the team that surrounds that Pokemon. So I think actually the best instance of this I can think of is Goldengo. Goldengo is a Pokemon, especially in Regulation F, that requires a ton of support around it to really enable it and make it thrive. So Goldengo is a Pokemon that has a really, really good typing in Ghost Steel. So it has a ton of resistances, but it also has a lot of weaknesses to a lot of the Pokemon that are common in the format right now. So what you need to do if you use Goldengo is to position it really well. But as far as team building goes, you want to have Pokemon around Goldengo that can support that Pokemon really well. So for instance, you want to have a Pokemon that has Intimidate, so like Incineroar, plus Fake Out works too. You want to have maybe a Rillaboom with Grassy Terrain and also Fake Out. You want to have a Pokemon that can redirect attacks away from the Goldengo to let it set up with Nasty Plot and get off a huge Make It Rain, for instance. Anything to add to that as well before we move on to the next? There's a lot there. There's a lot just in that one bullet point with sub-bullet points, but anything to add to that I maybe missed?
Yeah, I think you...
I was going to say, all this talk about Fluttermane and Shinpao, and we haven't even talked about Tornadus and Urshifu.
I mean, I'm going to be honest, that this is the first Pokemon that popped into my head when I think about a metagame and covering for a weakness. But,
oh yeah, I mean, Fluttermane had over 70%, I think it was like 71 or 72% usage at Worlds last August, which is unprecedented in the series.
Yeah, and even just recently, I think day 2, Fluttermane had a 68% usage rate in Charlotte.
Yeah.
So yeah, like even to now, Fluttermane is not only surviving in the format, but is absolutely still dominating it, which is not really that surprising, honestly. So yeah, moving on. Think about having solid building blocks for your team idea. So again, things like typing. The type chart is very much your friend when determining what types of Pokemon are important to include on your team. Having speed control is also a lot of the time very important given what your team is. So moving before your opponent is crucial. And how can you ensure that you move first? Whether it be via Trick Room, which makes slower Pokemon move before faster Pokemon, or whether it be via Tailwind, or I mentioned earlier Icy Wind as well to lower your opponent's speed stats, so on and so forth. Those are all valid forms of speed control. Utility moves like Tailwind, Trick Room, tied together with speed control as well. Protect is the most valuable move probably in VGC. Helping Hand is really strong as well. Various status moves, etc., are all very important in VGC as well, and all, of course, important things to consider to glue your team together, and also cover for your weaknesses. Held items as well. The same Pokemon can play in entirely different ways, depending on the item it is holding in battle. A really good example, the team that won San Antonio, Giovanni Costa, won at San Antonio with a Farigiraf. Farigiraf is typically a very defensive Pokemon, right? Very physically defensive, with, you can invest some special attack into it, you can invest quite a bit, but Giovanni Costa's Farigiraf had Life Orb on it to deal extra damage. And that considerably changed the role of that Pokemon on that team. Or didn't really change it, but it just made it a much more offensive Pokemon. Whereas Farigiraf is normally seen as very defensive, for instance.
Yeah, it completely changes the counterplay.
Yes.
As opposed to changing how that Pokemon is, it doesn't change the moveset.
Mm-hmm.
It's still going to run Trick Room, Hyper Voice, things like that,
Mm-hmm.
but it forces you to respect it for sure.
Yes, exactly. You want to think about how your Pokemon are trained. So there are these things called EVs and IVs. So effort values and individual values, as well as the natures, which boost one stat by 10% and reduce another stat by 10%. And the abilities of your Pokemon are all very important things to think about to maximize the amount of damage you want to do, or maximize, or really just like improve your Pokemon's bulk, or make it faster, or make it slower, etc. Making it slower is useful in Trick Room. But yeah, EVs are basically, okay, so how do we even go about talking about EVs? So EVs are a little bit complicated to explain, but long story short, they are ways for you to invest or not invest certain... Okay, so...
Do you need a little help here?
Go ahead, yeah.
Okay, so effort values, for a lot of you in chat are going to be classic Pokemon fans, right? So in classic Pokemon, and even in modern day Pokemon now, you had every Pokemon that you would defeat in battle would award typically 1 effort value, or 1 point towards your stat. Every 4 points, or every 4 knockouts of a Pokemon that represents, like Rattata would be speed, in generations, 1, 2, and 3, and so on and so forth, right? So every 4 knockouts of a Rattata would get you 1 additional point in full towards your stat of speed. And these stat points, or these effort values, max out at 255, but since only multiples of 4 actually contribute to your overall, stat growth, what your final stat will be at level 50 or level 100, 252 is the maximum number of effort values or EVs that will actually contribute to your max stat. And individual values are, or IVs are these numbers that range from 0 to 31, with 0 being the worst and 31 being the best, that determine your stat cap, basically. So if you have a 31 in HP, that means that you have the ability to, max out your HP, but if you have a 0, your max HP that is possible at level 50 or 100 will be much, much lower, considerably lower than someone who has a 31. And also, I'm being corrected, they did change it to a max of 252 in Scarlet and Violet. You can't invest that extra 3 random effort values anymore. Thank you for that correction. I completely forgot about that change. Basically, up to 508 total effort values can be assigned to a Pokemon, distributed across its stats, and multiples of 4 are what matters in terms of, whether or not it's going to contribute to your active stat growth. And yeah, basically, effort values are 0 to 252 in any given stat, to a max of 508 on 1 full Pokemon, and IVs are 0 to 31, basically how good can this stat be at max level, for HP, attack, defense, special defense, and speed. And every Pokemon, no 2 Rattata will have the same IVs, no 2 Pikachus will have the same IVs, and there are ways to maximize those IVs through, did I say EVs? Anyways, there are ways to max out the IVs at 31 with an item called the Bottle Cap, in more recent Pokemon games. If you are playing Scarlet and Violet and you have bottle caps, either bottle caps or gold bottle caps, you can go to the Montenevera town, or the town where you fight Rhyme, the ghost gym leader, in a double battle. And there is a guy standing there with an Abomasnow, and he's all about hyper training, and he will max out stats for your Pokemon in exchange for bottle caps, basically. I also wish that there was an NPC in post-game that let you set the IVs manually, because right now you can't set to 0, and 0, usually your IVs, you want them to typically be 31. There are some cases where you don't, and then there's cases where you want attack or speed to be 0. Those are the ones you usually want to see at 0. And that's for very specific strategies, or like Trick Room, if you want to have very, very low speed, so that you go first under Trick Room. Trick Room is a move that reverses the speed rule of fastest Pokemon goes first. In that, under Trick Room, slowest Pokemon goes first. And 0 attack is typically important for when you would deal confusion damage to yourself, or if you are having the move Foul Play being used on you, where it calculates your own attack versus your own defense stat. So, yeah, if it's a Pokemon that doesn't want its attack to be very high, like a special attacker like the aforementioned Fluttermane, you typically want a very low attack IV. But yeah, I know that that's really getting into the weeds, but TLDR, high number go burr, and is typically good for a very base level understanding. Some stats want to be very low, mostly attack or speed. And natures and abilities also affect the utility or the stat caps of your Pokemon. And that's bringing us to our next bullet point, where even very basic EV training is okay to use when you are just starting out. So if you're like, oh, I don't want to sit there and figure out what is the optimal effort value spread for, like, my Chen Pao, you can literally just max out its attack and speed, and that's okay. Like, there's no reason not to just do that if you don't know what damage calculations you're looking, what things you want to live, what things you want to defeat in battle, stuff like that. Like, what knockouts do you want this Pokemon to pick up? You might not know, so you're like, just make special attack or attack maximum. That's okay. But yeah, basically high number go burr, and you will learn over time how to fine-tune your effort value distribution so that you can sit there and be able to have more effective teams.
Oh yeah.
I just want to say shout-outs to Amber for explaining that so much better than I ever could have, given like an infinite amount of time. So thank you so much for that. But go ahead, Jacob. Sorry.
Oh yeah. No, that was I mean, you covered pretty much everything. I just want to hammer home that point of, if you just want your Pokemon to be very, very fast, very, very strong, 252 speed, 252 attack. If you want to be very bulky, 252 HP, 252 defense, things like that. The way that you play the game, the way that you pilot your team, is infinitely more important than if your Pokemon, has a very specific EV, distribution that, helps in some very specific matchups. Absolutely, there's a ton of math, and that's something that I love about competitive Pokemon, is that, the entire game is just chess and math with a bunch of cute little creatures. But it is always more important just to play the games. That's going to, make you a better player, and you're going to have a lot more fun by just slapping on a pretty easy EV spread and going out and playing.
Yes.
Than worrying about all those numbers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
That brings us to our next bullet point. You can always refer to or use teams that content creators showcase, or use a rental team in-game that you saw online if you want to jump straight into learning the ropes of battling first. Like Jacob said, understanding how to pilot a team is much more important when you are getting a grasp on the fundamentals than learning how to optimize your stats. The latter will come with time. The former is like the building block that you have to have in order to be any good at competitive battling, and that you have to be very patient with yourself. So, honestly, it's okay to use teams that other players or other creators have made, especially if it allows you to skip the team building step that you might be roadblocking you from trying out VGC. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I can tell you right now that I've been playing VGC for about a year, and I still really struggle to build teams. It is an art. It is truly an art. And by no means is anybody expected to be an expert team builder overnight, or even a halfway decent team builder overnight. So yeah, a very, very good way to get into just playing is to not necessarily build your own team right away, but to refer to teams that other people are using and try to use it yourself to try to win the game. Yeah, for sure. And also, of course, for more extensive knowledge on team building, you can check out Victory Road VGC. We've been referencing that website quite a bit, but it is a very good resource for this kind of stuff as well. And also vgcguide.com /team building as well. And I believe Wolf Glick and Aaron Traylor wrote the articles for that website. Correct
Wolf Glick, Aaron Traylor, there's a couple of other contributors, but those are two very those are the two names that are coming to mind right now.
Massachusetts' own Aaron Traylor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just so we're clear.
Let me see. I'll find the names because I want to make sure that they're credited. About Us.
I definitely dodged Aaron Traylor a few times in the last PC I played in.
Aaron Traylor, Wolf Glick, Aaron Zhang, someone named Scarlett as well, and someone named Max. I have all written articles, and Marissa L. developed the UX and UI for that website as well. Shoutouts to all of them.
Yeah, shoutouts to everybody involved with creating those resources, for sure.
And also, someone did bring up, you cannot use rentals for officially sanctioned events. That is absolutely true. But if you are just going on online ranked ladder, you absolutely can use rental teams. So that's how a lot of people just get started with VGC, is by playing in-game on the ladder. So there is something worth noting about playing on ladder versus playing at a, let's say your sanctioned local or your sanctioned regionals. And that's going to be the terms open team sheet and closed team sheet. Now, what do they mean? So games played with open team sheets are games where each player has more in-depth knowledge about their opponent's team. And this is what sets Scarlet and Violet apart from previous generations in terms of the competitive format for official events. Open team sheets make it very accessible to get started with your very first regional, and you're not stuck trying to figure out, what is the current meta, what can my opponent possibly be running, because moves, abilities, and Terra types, which are Terra type is the terrestrialization is the mechanic unique to Generation 9. Those are all disclosed. At the start of a battle, you are given the opponent's team sheet no later than what we call the team preview phase, and you're allowed to see all of the moves, abilities, and Terra types on all 6 Pokemon that your opponent is bringing to the battle. And this is how games are typically played in officially sanctioned events as of Generation 9. So this is a very, very good time to get into competitive Pokemon, even at your locals, which you can find local events around you with the, if you go to Pokemon.com, there's an event locator that you can use on their website to find places that are local to you so that you can actually, do the thing. You can show up and do the thing with a team that you built. And even if you don't do necessarily super well, you have had a learning experience and you are able to talk with the players there at your locals to maybe learn a little bit more about what you could be doing better, or maybe a better teammate that you could have on your team of 6. Also items. I completely forgot. Items are also disclosed. So the moves, abilities, items, and Terra types. Hold on, I can actually edit the slide in real time.
I wrote this slide, so I forgot that. Yay!
It's true. I have edited the slide. I don't know if it'll reflect in the presentation, but we'll get there. I have edited in real time though.
Not Amber's fault, everybody. Not Amber's fault. my fault.
But yes, Open Team Sheet is more even. It brings you to a similar level of knowledge in terms of what your opponent is playing. But there's still a lot of learning intuition on what your opponent is thinking. You have to worry more about what your opponent is thinking and their play style than necessarily what they're actually playing with, what their tools are. And I think that allows newer players to learn a lot more about the intuition part of battling, rather than just worrying about, oh, what is the current meta? What is my opponent possibly playing? This Pokemon, this Fluttermane, can be built 6 different ways. What build are they using? You don't know their IVs or their EVs, so you don't know exactly what their stats are going to allow them to knock out or what they're going to survive, but you still have a better idea of, okay, their moveset means that they probably play like this. Or their item means that they will probably play like that. Stuff like that.
Exactly. A good example of that is like a Fluttermane, right? Okay, so Fluttermane movesets typically have something like Shadow Ball, Dazzling Gleam, Moonblast, Icy Wind, Protect, any combination of those moves. Of course, there are some utility moves that it can use as well, but the important one here is Icy Wind. If you see a Fluttermane on an open team sheet with Booster Energy and Icy Wind, you know that Fluttermane is very likely a Speed Booster Fluttermane, as opposed to a Special Attack Booster. And I will get into what Booster Energy does. Basically, it can increase either your highest stat on a Pokemon, and it only applies to the Paradox Pokemon. So Fluttermane is one of the few Pokemon that you do need to worry about on this. But yeah, you can increase either its speed by a stage or its special attack by 1.3 times if it has Booster Energy. But yeah, you can kind of tell. It's just one example of how you can kind of tell by the moveset what kind of Fluttermane that might be.
So, that being said, closed team sheets are games where all of this information that is more in-depth, that is withheld. So, players have to find out undisclosed information on their own through playing out the game. So, you might have to take notes. You are allowed to take notes in official matches, but this is actually how games are played on the in-game battle stadium or ranked ladder, which you'll be seeing very, very soon. But closed team sheets can be a little more difficult to get into if you're very new.
Yeah.
But all that being said, both ways to play are valid.
They are both valid, and they require specifically different skill sets as well.
Yes.
So, like, yeah, part of the skill in playing closed team sheet is having that intuition to know what your opponent might be trying to do with that team. So, like, you don't have that explicit knowledge of the items, the movesets, etc., but you can make a very educated guess. Mm-hmm. And also, if it happens to be best of 3, which unfortunately online ladder does not do best of 3, or at least, like, in-game ranked ladder does not do best of 3. These are best of 1. Especially in a best of 3, like how previous generations handled sanctioned events, closed team sheet best of 3 allows you to do a lot of scouting work, and it rewards note taking, it rewards patience, scouting, of course, like, etc. That is just completely another skill set that is valuable in closed team sheet. But yeah, both ways to play are extremely valid.
Yeah, Jacob, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I agree with both ways to play being valid, and open team sheet for me is just a better format.
I agree.
Mostly because it is so much more approachable. And it levels the information playing field. I started playing in Generation 8 where there was still closed team sheet formats, and especially in formats that were so volatile with multiple restricted legendary Pokemon, some of the strongest in the game allowed on each team, and Dynamax being a mechanic that allowed you once per game just to double a Pokemon's HP and give it moves that are about 150 base power that will never miss and have very strong secondary effects. those games with closed team sheet were just so volatile that, it could be very discouraging if you just got blown out game one where, for instance, you had to reveal all 4 Pokemon that you brought and maybe some moves or some items on those, while your opponent, who just happened to have, a surprise, surprise item or a surprise move on a Pokemon, was able just to kind of steamroll through game one, conserve a lot of information, and that gives them such a huge advantage moving forward the rest of the set, as opposed to open team sheet where at the beginning of the match, you and your opponent both have knowledge of every move, item, Terra type, ability on each Pokemon. And like Jay was saying, now rewards the skill of being able to deduce, okay, based on this item choice on this Pokemon, they're likely trained in this way. Fast Flutter Mane having Icy Wind, or Pokemon that have Focus Sash likely not being invested too much in their defenses, because the Focus Sash item allows you to live, or allows a Pokemon to survive any hit from full HP. They will always survive that hit on 1 HP and not be knocked out, even if that hit were supposed to do more than 100% damage. There are all kinds of interactions like that I think open team sheet kind of gives everyone the same starting point and puts you 1 or 2 rungs up the ladder, so it allows games to be played on a much higher level, as opposed to closed team sheet where you had a lot of games that would just be very, very fast, and maybe not require a ton of thought outside of just executing a specific game plan.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. How are we looking on time, by the way? Because we are just shy of the team breakdown segment.
I think we want to take our break, our first break of the stream. When we come back from our break, we're going to hop into Jay's team breakdown. We're going to show what his team looks like, and he's going to take it from there to explain what his team is all about before we do some online ladder matches. So thank you for bearing with us during this hour. When we come back from our break, it'll be about another 7 or 8 minutes while Jay explains his team build. And then we'll hop into some exhibition matches right after. So it's just a reminder to anyone in chat, if you did miss out on any of our other Hotfix shows, you can check out the VODs over on youtube.com/GamesDoneQuick, and that your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bits cheered here on the GDQ Twitch channel genuinely help support Games Done Quick Hotfix. If you enjoy watching speedruns or showcases like this daily, consider subscribing to the channel. So we will be right back in about 5 minutes. Great time to get up, walk around, grab a snack, drink some water, and hydrate. And we'll be right back with the breakdown and some exhibition matches. Hello everyone, welcome back to episode 21 of Passion Project, where we are breaking down the basics and fundamentals of the Video Game Championships, or VGC format, which is the official competitive Pokemon format. I'm joined by TGH and Jacob Lintner, and TGH here is going to break down his team that he's about to take on the online ladder matches.
Yeah, okay, so this is my team. Basically, okay, so for teams that I build, and this was made specifically for Regulation F, of course, which started on, I think, January 4th, like right at the beginning of January, so beginning of this month. For teams that I build, I prefer to have a lot of offensive options, but I also have a solid defensive backbone, if you will, as well. So I've got a few different purely offensive modes, and by mode, I mean, like, just basically a different way to play the team. If I feel like I can break through an opponent's team immediately, I will go with one of my more offensive modes. Chen Pao's ability, Sword of Ruin, lowers the defense of every other Pokemon on the field, including my own, by 0.25 times. So it makes your defense essentially 0.75 times what it would be, which helps me deal significant damage to my opponent and also enables whatever physical attacker I'm using next to it. A particularly great partner for Chen Pao in the current format is Entei, specifically with Choice Band, which is an item that increases my attack stat by 1.5 times. But it only allows me to use a single move until I switch the Pokemon out. But Entei has really nice tools like Extreme Speed, which is an amazing, honestly, busted, +2 priority move with 80 base power. And what I mean by +2 priority is Some moves in the game have priority over normal moves in terms of when they happen, like Aqua Jet, Quick Attack, etc. Those moves have +1 priority. Extreme Speed has +2, which means it'll attack before those with +1, and is also double the power of those +1 moves I mentioned. That combined with Terra Normal to boost that even more means I almost always get something valuable out of a Chien-Pao and Entei lead. Entei also does extremely well into common meta threats like Fluttermane, Incineroar, Rillaboom, those latter two thanks largely in part to its ability, Inner Focus, which prevents it from being intimidated or flinched by moves like Fake Out, which is enormous, especially in this format. And if I feel like I need more speed in a matchup, or I can benefit from changing the weather to sun, I can bring Tornadus along with Entei as a lead. Having Tailwind as an option to double my team's speed is extremely valuable, especially when I have quite a few offensive tools that aren't the fastest ever. Sunny Day is also useful not only as an offensive tool to enable Entei's strong fire-type moves, but also as a defensive tool to quell strong water-type Pokemon like Urshifu, Rapid Strike, and I'm sure we will see a bunch of this today. If I don't feel like bringing a Pokemon like Amoonguss or Ogerpon Wellspring, Sunny Day does a really good job of stopping Urshifu Rapid Strike in its tracks. The best thing about Tornadus, however, is its ability, Prankster. Prankster increases the priority bracket of all of Tornadus' status moves, which means non-attacking moves, by 1, meaning Tailwind, Sunny Day, and Taunt all have +1 priority on this Pokemon, which is extremely useful to say the least. Mental Herb as an item is meant to keep it from getting taunted, and Terra Ghost is to get rid of its weakness to Ice, Electric, and Rock, and also to keep it from being hit by Fake Out, which is a +3 priority move with a 100% flinch rate that can just completely stop me from getting up an important Tailwind if I need it. Also, Terra Ghost is very useful there. To round out this offensive portion of the team, I've got a Fluttermane, which is consistently the most utilized Pokemon in VGC. You've already heard me mention it a ton, but it's for a reason. It's hands down the best special attacker in the game, with amazing min-maxed stats. It's incredibly fast as well, and it has incredible typing in Fairy and Ghost, and ridiculously good stab options for moves like the ones I have here. Moonblast for an extremely strong Fairy move, Shadow Ball for a great Ghost-type move, and Dazzling Gleam for a really good Fairy spread move lets it do extremely consistent, considerable damage across the board. Especially with Booster Energy, which is a pretty unique item that I did mention earlier, which was introduced in Scarlet and Violet, that only works with the Paradox Pokemon, or in other words, Pokemon with Photosynthesis or the Quark Drive ability, which is the signature ability of past Paradox Pokemon and future Paradox Pokemon, respectively, and boosts whatever their highest stat is. In this case, it's Special Attack for my Fluttermane on a switch-in. However, it's consumed completely when it's first used, so I do have to be careful about how it's positioned and switching it out, thus losing the boost. However, Sunny Day on Tornadus does allow Fluttermane to retain the boost upon switching out and back in, which has saved me before. Luckily, I've got 2 options for redirection on the team if I don't feel like switching out Fluttermane, and I feel like it's really useful to have on the field throughout. One of which is Ogerpon Wellspring. Now, we're getting into the defensive part of the team here, which I think is really vital to have and makes it a more consistent team overall, in my opinion. Fluttermane next to Ogerpon is an extremely effective duo that gives me a ton of options. I can attack with both, I can protect Fluttermane and attack the Pokemon that threatens Fluttermane with Ogerpon, I can protect and Spiky Shield, which is basically protect on Ogerpon, except contact moves that come into Ogerpon deal 1/6 damage. I think it's 1/6, right? Damage to whatever attacks it. To scout what they're going to do as well, I can redirect using Follow Me with Ogerpon and attack with Fluttermane. I can Terrastalize either Pokemon if I think it'll give me an immediate advantage. There are just so many options I have with that duo, and this is what it's great about. This is what's great about having a Pokemon or two like this on your team, is that they give you options for how to handle tougher matchups. Admittedly, for me, this Ogerpon slot has switched around a bunch between a few different Pokemon, all of them defensive in nature. But I settled on Ogerpon Wellspring strictly because this team doesn't deal very well with Terra Grass Gouging Fire. One specific person in this call knows exactly what I'm talking about. Especially paired with Chen Pao, which was getting really popular before Charlotte just happened. I need a redirector that can actually redirect attacks from Grass-type Pokemon, which Amoonguss can't do. And I also wanted a Pokemon that can hit Water types, and Water Terras, which are pretty common, fairly hard, just like the Iron Hands and the Raging Bolt I had in this slot before could do. And that's where Ogerpon Wellspring really shines. Hornleech is a great Grass-type move that heals back 50% of the damage that you heal. That you deal, excuse me. I mixed up heal and deal there. You deal back 50% of what you heal. And of course, Ivy Cudgel is a super strong water-type move. It is a water-type move in this case since it is Ogerpon Wellspring. Ogerpon is a really neat Pokemon conceptually in VGC, since each form of Ogerpon that you can equip the different masks on Ogerpon to change its form. Each form has a secondary typing, of course, but also a different ability. Water Absorb is honestly just a bonus ability for me, and another way to deal with Urshifu Rapid Strike if I don't want to bring Tornadus to a matchup, but not shown on this graphic is Ogerpon's secondary ability once it terastallizes, Embody Aspect. Embody Aspect also works differently with each form of Ogerpon. On Teal Mask, it raises speed by a stage. Each of these stat raises by one stage. On Ogerpon Hearthflame, it raises attack. On Ogerpon Cornerstone, it raises defense. And on Ogerpon Wellspring, which is mine, it raises special defense. And the special defense raise comes in very handy in specific matchups, particularly involving Fluttermane or Chi-Yu, and gives us a significant advantage there that we wouldn't have had otherwise. Last but not least, we have Amoonguss, which is even more disruptive and defensive of a Pokemon for when I really need it, and also does better in Trick Room since it's such a slow Pokemon and can attack before my opponent's Trick Room sweepers. Spore is a 100% accurate move that puts the opposing Pokemon to sleep for anywhere from 1 to 3 turns. Pollen Puff is actually a really cool move that can be used as either an attack on your opponent or a healing move on your ally that deals... there I go again. That heals 50% of their HP if you use it on your own ally. And Rage Powder is a move that functions a lot like Follow Me on Ogerpon, except it doesn't affect Grass-type Pokemon or Pokemon with the item safety goggles. Amoonguss can function a lot like Ogerpon in the sense that if I feel like I have to play a bit more defensively and be a bit crafty with Pokemon like Amoonguss or Ogerpon, I can do that too. Both of these Pokemon have tools that can disrupt the other team from doing what they're trying to do. Most often, I find myself bringing one of these two Pokemon to games because there's nearly always something useful and helpful that can be done with them to either disrupt the other team or support my own team or their teammates. So yeah, that's basically the gist of my team. And now I guess pretty soon we're gonna see it in action. So yeah, upcoming are some exhibition matches on the in-game ranked ladder. So yeah, I guess if there's like anything to add, if you want, Jacob or Amber, you can if you want.
The main thing I have to add is that the Pachirisu World Championships win was a decade ago in 2014, and I feel very old right now.
Yeah, and that's also a really good example of just like a Pokemon that may not necessarily be, you know, the most thought of or the most meta, but is also incredibly useful. And on that team, I remember seeing like a short about that team, and it just fulfilled the perfect role. I think it's the only mon in the game, or the only Pokemon in the game that has Follow Me and Volt Absorb. I think that's the reason why it was used, or something along those lines. But yeah,
go watch the segment on the official Pokemon YouTube. There is a whole story that's narrated by an excellent caster, Joe Brown. All of those history of VGC segments are incredible. Go watch them. But first, watch this as we go into our ranked battles.
Okay, so this is the part I'm nervous about. Is fighting teams on the ladder, and I am in Master Ball rank. Just don't look at my ranking. But yeah, we are in Master Ball rank right now. But I'm still scared of what we're gonna see here. Okay. Okay, we have Smeargle, Alolan Muck, Flamigo. I'm terrified. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
I'm
What is this Flamigo?
this is one hell of a first team to see here. We have Urshifu. We don't know if it's Urshifu, Rapid Strike, or Dark. And really, I can't even fathom a guess. We have Fluttermane, and we have Latias. So, oh my god. Well, I definitely like Fluttermane here. I know that much. I know that Latias gets Tailwind and also Icy Wind. It's also just like a speed control Pokemon. But I definitely do like, at least for this, I kind of like... It's either Water Ogerpon and Flutter or Tornadus Flutter to counter their own Tailwind. And the Smeargle could have anything, like almost literally anything in the game.
Any move.
Yeah. I think
But
what we're going to do is we are going to lead Torn Flutter. Oh my god, I don't even... Oh, okay. Okay, I like Ogre and Entei in the back. We'll see how this goes.
I think this is a really great example of showing off closed team sheet, because
Yes.
while this team that Jay is about to play, on paper we know nothing about it, because the two of us have seen these types of teams before, and we know the common movesets and abilities run on these kinds of Pokemon. The general strategy of this team that they're about to play is to lead Smeargle and Muck, like you see there.
I love this
Smeargle-
lead, actually.
Yeah.
I love this because I can taunt the Smeargle immediately. So we're going to taunt Smeargle, and we can just kind of go all out with Flutter here. I can do one of two things. I can either Dazzling Gleam to get Chip on Muck, or... Actually, no, a little Muck is part Dark, so it's neutral. I don't want to Terra, though, because I don't want to leave myself vulnerable to a poison move. Or at least, I don't want a poison move to be super effective. So I just like Dazzling. It'll break the Sash. Presumably, Smeargle does have Focus Sash. It also has Follow Me, but that doesn't matter because we're using the spread move. And now that Smeargle probably isn't going to be able to do much at all. Dazzling Gleam gets it down to Sash, deals probably 1/3 to Muck. Muck goes for Minimize. No surprise there. I might taunt the Muck too, honestly. No, I can't taunt the Muck. It has it's a Dark type. So yeah, I do have Taunt on Tornadus, but one of the bad things about Taunt on Tornadus is I can't taunt Dark types because of Prankster. Prankster does not work on Dark types. Also, I didn't happen to see what... Okay, Smeargle's defense fell and special defense went up. Okay. Okay, so... At this point... I still don't want a Terra. But I am, a little concerned about this Muck just using Minimize over and over. Basically, that's what this team is going to try to do, because Flamigo has an ability called Co-Star, which copies an ally's stat boost on the switch-in. I'm just going to go for this.
Yeah, I think the important thing here, and I'm a little bit delayed on it, is that
tried to fake out.
Yeah, it's probably the only move they can click. I think the important thing here and is that you really don't want to knock out the Smeargle in this case, because Muck is going to now take over the ability.
Yeah, they kind of do get a free switch in here. Oh, of course, Bleakwind Storm hits the Muck at +1 evasiveness, but Dazzling Gleam missed. And Muck has leftovers as well.
But now,
okay, so now they're probably bringing in Flamigo, right?
Yeah, there's the option for Flamigo to come in as a co-star. I think the other thing is the Latias on that team is likely Psych Up, In addition to probably Tailwind, Icy Wind, Stored Power. But Psych Up Latias is something I've seen a lot actually played at Charlotte next to a Dondozo with a Perish Song to try to KO the Tatsugiri, so you could bring in the Latias, Psych Up, and get the +2 boosts.
Were people really doing that at Charlotte? Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It was I don't think they'll mind if I say it, but it was Dawei C, who is another New England local, who plays a lot of very, very cool, very interesting teams, and unfortunately, I had no matchup into Dondozo plus Glamora.
Yeah, I'm just going to go Dazzling again. So I'm bringing Entei just as, like, another offensive option and maybe to preserve Tornadus. Like, honestly, like, at this point, we just kind of have to hope that Dazzling Gleam hits our targets here. And really, there's nothing else we can do. Muck went for Protect, which is interesting. Dazzling Gleam is going to go into the Protect first. Please hit Flamigo. Thank you. Okay, so we're good. We're good at least on the Flamigo.
Everything's under control.
Yeah. So the thing about teams like the one I'm facing is that they are banking on me missing. I do not love the special defense raise, but we do have we do have Entei here, so I didn't set Tailwind. Muck isn't going to outspeed these guys. But here's Latias. They haven't Terra. Latias is probably Terra Steel, if I had to guess. So, honestly, one thing I kind of like here is I like just aiming a Sacred Fire into Latias and just going for another Dazzling. Yeah, that seems good to me, honestly. Still really no need to Terra. I don't want to leave myself open to a poison move.
Yeah, and that's an important thing too, especially at this stage of the game where you know the final 2 Pokemon for your opponent is figuring out who you want to use the Terastallization on. I think Ogerpon is a very good candidate here.
Terra Poison. Okay, so that's a little bit bad for me, but so it probably lives. Yeah, it lives. It lives Sacred Fire plus Dazzling. It also goes for Calm Mind, which is I mean, it makes sense that it has Calm Mind because of the type of team this is on, but okay, it hits both targets. Yeah, but Muck barely takes any damage. But we go for Sacred Fire, and it okay. We got the burn. That's actually pretty big, honestly.
Oh, yeah. And that's interesting, because the Latias, if they do have Psych Up, they just didn't click it.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been scary if they did, but at this point, I can just kind of freely go for an E-Speed into Latios, and just, like, eventually this Muck will go down. Well, eventually.
You can't go for an Extreme Speed, because you're choice banned.
Right. Right, okay. So that is a good point. That is a very good point. So yeah, what I'll do is I'm just going to keep Flutter on the field for now.
I hate when I forget that I'm choice itemed, by the way. I've done that so many times.
I forgot I even attacked. I think that was the issue. Yeah, there's Psych Up. Also, Psych Up works through Protect. I didn't realize that. Or even a side Psych Up. It's fine, though, because Sacred Fire is just going to knock it out right here. Actually, no. Well, unless it misses. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so...
They're very fast.
Yeah, Latias is fast.
The good news is...
that it is burned.
It's burned.
You just gotta burn the Muck next.
Wish me luck doing that. Wish me luck. I'll probably just Protect Flutter this turn.
Yeah.
I think let the Latias die. Draining Kiss. Huh?
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Trying to buy time for itself, I guess.
Well, see, I'm a little bit surprised that they're not Recover.
Oh, thanks for knocking. Okay. They knocked off my choice band. Okay, so
Hey.
that's honestly, if anything, not a bad thing for me. Because now well,
No, you can click Stomping Tantrum to get the double power.
Yeah, but like, oh right, yeah, I can. Yeah, because okay, Stomping Tantrum is a move that okay, so it doubles in power, right? It doubles in power when it fails. If like the next time I use it, it'll be double power. If I miss or I'm just gonna get another moody boost. If this muck solos me, I swear. Like it is a 4v1.
Yeah, like I mean, we talked a little bit about RNG in the overview. This is a team that relies almost solely on getting good luck, and I think law of large numbers. I think there are just too many pieces, and I hope I'm right.
I can't tell if this is like the worst or the best team to see for a first experience.
Oh, definitely. Well, I think better than like Dondozo.
Oh no. Okay. Toxic.
I think it is certainly an experience as your first experience.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
oh,
the Moonblast hits. Okay. Yeah, the Stomping Tantrum eventually is gonna knock it out. They've already Terra poisoned the Latias, so like they can't Terra away from a super effective Stomping Tantrum. But what is your defense right now?
the tricky part with
Whoops.
well, yeah, the tricky part with Stomping Tantrum is that you will only get the double boost if the move fails. Oh wow. Sorry, I'm a little delayed, so I just saw the stat boost. So if your Stomping Tantrum misses, so this turn you would get the Stomping Tantrum boost, but on your next turn, because it's going into the Protect now,
Yeah.
you won't get the double
boost.
power.
Yeah.
Which is just a cool mechanic of the move.
I'm not gonna lie, this muck might solo me right now. This muck might 1v4 me.
Nah, eventually you crit. Trust.
I mean, I'm worried about being able to hit it. Never mind crit. Never mind crit. Yes, this is where a Pokemon right now with Haze would be super valuable, but I don't have anything like that. I don't have Haze or Clear Smog or anything like that I can use. So right now we're just kind of at the mercy of RNG, and we're just going to be spamming away at this muck until we hit it.
So let me also make it very clear. He's in Master Ball tier. When you play on the ranked ladder, you start unranked, and then you go into Pokeball, Great Ball, Ultra Ball, and Master Ball, depending on how your win-loss record is doing. So he's in the upper echelon of the ladder right now, rather than being at the bottom level where he would be matched up against people who maybe are playing on the ranked ladder for the very first time.
Yeah, so we can just say there are people who will run degenerate strategies all over the ladder. It's not just confined to one section.
Remind me, in Gen 9, Toxic Poison does not reset upon switching out, right?
It does.
I think it's only an early gen. It does?
It does, yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, alright, I'll probably switch out Entei then.
Yeah, the next time, did they just Protect? I can't remember.
No, they just Toxic Flutter me.
Okay, then yeah, switch out this turn because they will likely just Protect.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, Chen Pao would have been... Well, I mean, in retrospect, I can't speak in retrospects, but like, because I don't believe I brought the wrong Pokemon here. It's just like... And also, like... You know, it's not like I'm hitting Sacred Sword anyway in this scenario.
Also, some folks in chat are saying, we swear VGC is typically much more fun than this. Open Team Sheet is a very different game. You will see on ladder, you'll see strategies like this very, very commonly on ladder, simply because, like, you'll look at the team preview where you're selecting your 4 Pokemon to bring in and be like, what in the blue hell are these people running with this Flamigo, Latias, Alolan muck nonsense with Smeargle?
I'm basically tearing Ogrepon here because I don't really have anything else to tear. And also I'm more likely to get like a crit with Ivy Cudgel to end this game. Okay, Moonblast hitting. I'm doing a lot. Ivy Cudgel missing.
Yeah, it sounds like that this is going to be a bit of a revolving door of Pokemon, where your goal is to just have more HP than this muck in total by the end of the timer.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I mean, it's not fun or interesting, but you could timer stall them.
It's true. It is a very legitimate strategy
Yeah.
when you're stuck with something like this.
This might be the only game we get in before we do our matches, Jacob.
Oh, man.
Moonblast hitting twice in a row. Ivy Cudgel missing. Like, Ivy Cudgel's the one I need to hit.
Yeah.
I hope that Muckstrat player is having fun. I hope they're
I
having
really
the
hope
time
they are
of their
too,
lives.
I'm sure they are. That's just how Muck players are. I think Fluttermane does feint this coming turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch Flutter out here. Probably back into Entei. Yeah, there's really not much else I can do.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, if you have 4 Pokemon and they have 1, so if you keep switching around, eventually something is going to feint to Toxic Poison or a knockoff or something, but after 20 minutes, you're likely to end up with at least 2 still around.
Dear,
but yeah, this is a toughie.
Yeah, that is my new strategy at this point. I'm switching out Ogrepon this turn, probably into Torn. I do like how one of the few attacks that I've hit this this Muck with has been the 80% accurate move. Mm-hmm. in Bleak Windstorm. It is by far the least accurate move on my team. In fact, I think it's the only... No, well, Sacred Fire is 95 accurate, but, Oh, Stomping Tantrum hits. It does, like, 1/10.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh.
But this coming turn, they probably click Toxic into your Tornadus. And so you switch that back out to a Pokemon that's already poisoned.
Yeah, at this point, I'm just playing a switch in game, essentially. I think I need a double switch here, actually, to keep Entei from fainting.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, I still have the luxury of being able to double switch.
Yeah, and that's really the way that you beat these kinds of teams is... I mean, I think you played the first couple of turns. Again, I don't agree with knocking out the Smeagol turn 2. I think if you can avoid that, you try to, but...
Probably.
But yeah, you're just able to pick up KOs faster than they are and leave them in a position where they're fighting, 1 versus 4.
Oh, they knocked off the Flutter. Okay, well, because Flutter wasn't holding an item, that did less damage than it would have otherwise.
Honestly, okay, Knockoff's a pretty solid play there. That's fair. Because the switch, I don't know. They could have read into the switch a little bit. But no, on paper, I mean, Muck, Alolan Muck, the base ability Power of Alchemy is really, really cool. You're able to do a ton of really neat stuff with it. It functions the same as Receiver, the ability of Passimian. Thankfully, at most 3 minutes left. But, you're able to do some really neat stuff with it. You can pass along abilities like Unaware. You can, pass along abilities like Moody. It's just whenever you stick it into a position like this, the way that Muck, I think, is optimal in the current format just isn't conducive to a very fun
game.
Yeah, so This is very similar. This is a similar problem you can have in a trading card game, where I come from with competitive card games. Unfun competitive card games or unfun opponents to play against are the opponents who just kind of render your game state in such a way that it is non-interactive. What that means is Jay basically can't really do much to this muck. He kind of just has to wait until the timer runs out, or he forfeits. These kinds of teams are just there to control the field and just kind of stall for a very long time, and make the game as unfun as possible, basically. This is not what the meta is right now, believe it or not.
It's not. No, it's not. This is honestly not very common right now. It's the first time I've seen this team, at least in Regulation F.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked to a few players and some players who I consider very, very good at the game, who were, albeit for a very short time, considering bringing a strategy similar to this one to, the Portland regionals that are, very early in the format. Yeah, it's tough. But on the flip side, there are some very cool Pokemon that can render the game state a little, I like the word that Amber used, non-interactive. Pokemon like Screamtail, who can use Encore and Disable to lock a Pokemon into using the same move and then turn off their ability to actually use that move. I think it's very, very fun, because those strategies have specific counterplay, and Encore and Disable have time limits. They only work for 3 or 4 turns, as opposed to things like Toxic or your evasion boosts that are indefinite, that last the entire game. And in the case of Toxic, only get stronger. But yeah, I mean, this game is won, thankfully.
Yeah, so this is the last turn of the fight. I'm just gonna keep trying to get fields. I mean, yeah, this is fine. I
mean, you can click Protect and with Fluttermane.
Yeah, Fluttermane would just
to guarantee that you have 4. Well, the game's gonna end before the turn finishes.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, all right.
Let's go.
Yay, we win!
In swift fashion. In swift fashion. Oh my god. How much more time do we have?
You got about 20 minutes before our next break.
Yeah, that was
wow. Okay. All right. Yeah, like I said, I don't know whether that was I think that was not a very good battle to showcase especially for the first one.
Yeah.
Trust me when I say that is not common right now. I at least I haven't seen it too much. All right. Let's go with random music.
Random music.
Maybe
we like to live dangerously.
I almost never go for random music. I almost always choose one of the Team Star themes. Or Carmine. Carmine's good too. Kieran
and Carmine are both great. Cassiopeia is absolutely the best song. And again, anyone who's ever played me at a local knows that is always my request.
Okay, so we have Walking Wake, Incineroar, Gastrodon, Iron Hands, Fluttermane, and Urshifu. They have Walking Wake, but they don't seem to have a Sunsetter. Does Incineroar get Sunny Day?
I mean, it's gotta.
Oh, Fluttermane gets Sunny Day.
Yep, Fluttermane and Walking Wake both do.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right.
What the Gastrodon doing, though?
Gastrodon things. So Gastrodon has Storm Drain, which is pretty useful for protecting Incineroar? Interesting, but...
Yeah, but you can't have it on the field next to Walking Wake, because you'll just eat your own.
The thing I'm noticing is that they don't have really any fantastic speed control, but I am a little bit wary of an Iron Hands lead to lead my own Flutter. So I do actually kind of like Flutter Ogre lead here. especially with their main offensive threats being like Urshifu. Presumably water Urshifu, but like it could be dark as well. And we're gonna go... Let's get a Amoonguss in there. I don't know if Amoonguss is the right call, but I want to showcase Amoonguss. See if Amoonguss can do anything in this fight.
Yeah. And this is another strike against closed team sheet is Urshifu, and there are a very, very small number of Pokemon where this actually applies, but Urshifu is the most common, where in a closed team sheet environment, Jay and I, we don't know which form of Urshifu that is, if that's the water and fighting or the dark and fighting form, whereas an open team sheet we would know. And that completely changes the counterplay against that Pokemon. Because
absolutely.
With the Gastrodon on the team, I would actually think it's probably the dark type version.
Okay, so in this situation, I'm asking myself, like, which of these Pokemon is a bigger threat to what I have in the back? And I'm thinking if I Terra Water Amoonguss, like, Incineroar is not a threat at all. So I kind of want Gastrodon off the field a little bit. Like, Incineroar really isn't terribly... it's not a huge threat. Like, it can Flare Blitz Flutter Mane, but Flare Blitz wouldn't kill unless it's, like, hugely attack invested. I'm gonna Moonblast Gastro and Spiky Shield this.
Yeah, so someone's asking, what does Incineroar do? Like, it doesn't have much to contribute without Parting Shot. What does it do that Arcanine doesn't? Well, first off, it still gets Parting Shot. I don't know where you heard it doesn't have Parting Shot, but it has Stab Knockoff, it has Fake Out, it has different speed tiers as well, and different typing. So Incineroar is still a very, very useful Pokemon.
Okay,
Bill?
I'm sort of alright with that turn one. Like, yeah, Flutter went down there, but it's not the end of the world. I like bringing in... maybe change of plans, actually, because, like...
Oh yeah, it gets a helping hand, too.
Now I kind of want to Terra Normal Entei, but, like, also Gastro is, like... No, I see no... No, this is fine, yeah. We'll just, like... I still do have options here, though. I still do have options.
Yeah, I'm really surprised they didn't Terrastalize Gastrodon since they didn't click Fake Out into your Ogerpon. So you could have just clicked Horn Leech into it.
Yeah, I like Stomping Incineroar here. If anything, we'll force a Terra. Actually, well... Maybe not. Yeah, I like Stomping, follow me.
I think...
So they are tearing. We're tearing Gastro on this turn.
Yeah, I guess
Terra Poison is fine.
I guess they just called the Ogerpon Protect turn 1.
Yeah, that much is fair. And Sludge Wave is a spread move as well, so like that was a safe play on their part. Yeah, Stomping just knocks out Incin, and also leaves us with a super effective attack on the next turn, too. Went for Earth Power. They probably went for Earth Power into the Entei. But follow me, ruin that plan. Gastro probably has Protect, if I had to imagine. Here's Urshifu. It is Dark Urshifu, which is I mean, it's like okay, I guess. I don't mind Dark.
It's a little spooky, but I think you have enough
It is
offense.
a little bit. Yeah, like the fact that I have the fact that Flutter Mane is like gone is a little bit worrying here. So like really, as long as they have Gastro on the field though, like Entei is my only real form of offense, which is a little bit scary. So what I like, Stomping probably won't KO Gastro.
It should.
It's pretty defensively bulky.
I would be very surprised.
Horn Leech and Urshifu. Okay, they do have Protect, which is which makes sense. I mean, they have leftovers. Close combat into the Entei. Okay, the defense fall is pretty huge, though. Hornleech should do, like, at least 80-90% to this Ursh. Never mind. Wow, that was with a defense fall.
The Ogerpon's also at -1.
Oh, that is true. That is true. I mean, still, that wouldn't have done 80-90. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do like another, like a follow me here. A follow me into. This is really spooky, actually. Fluttermane being gone here is just like very, very not good. Very not good.
Gastrodon's cry gives me life, though. Just what?
Oh yeah, no, Gastrodon in a vacuum, very very cute Pokemon. Yeah, this turn is very interesting because you really don't want either of these Pokemon to stay on the field after this turn. The Ogerpon, of course, has the attack drop from Intimidate, and Entei you would rather lock into something like Extreme Speed, so you can outrun the Urshifu.
Okay, that did KO.
Yeah.
That's pretty big. So now this turn, I can pivot in Amoonguss somewhere. But two of their Pokemon are gone, so it is 3v2, and their last one is Walking Peak. Speed booster, I guess. Or booster energy of some kind. It is special attack booster. Okay. That's interesting. And honestly, not very good. So they have two Pokemon right now that outspeed mine. Like, they're outputting a bunch of pressure on me right now, so... they... go for, like, Hydro Steam into Entei. I like switching in Amoonguss here for Entei. Extreme Speed will KO Ursh at, like, at -2. Ursh is at -2 right now. I'm gonna have to let Ogre die. But if they don't target Ogre, which they, I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't just target one of each. Because they had like, oh, they went for Sucker Punch. What?
Oh.
And Flamethrower and Ogerpon. Okay, that did take care of it. I think they would have killed even without the crit.
Yeah, with the special attack boost. But I still like the purpose of that play, which forces them to respect your Ogerpon still, even though, you know, it doesn't put on a ton of pressure.
Yeah.
Allows you to get Amoonguss in for free.
I do like Terra Water Amoonguss on this play. And just E-speeding Nursh. Actually, well... Yeah, their Walking Wake is in a pretty good position right here regardless. I don't know, I think in... No, I like this, actually. I think this play makes a lot of sense. Okay,
yeah, I think
so...
that's correct.
Yeah.
Because they have already revealed Flamethrower, so you have to respect that from the Walking Wake.
Yeah, like the typical Wake set is a Hydro Steam, Flamethrower, Draco Meteor, Protect. At least that's the set I ran when I used it, but they don't protect Ursh. They're probably Scarfed, honestly.
Oh, because they switched moves.
No, oh, they did, right. Yeah, there's Rage Powder going off. Okay, I think this is our game now. Surf?
No.
Never mind.
What?
I forgot that move was in the game. You know what? It actually makes sense on a team with Gastrodon, though.
That's so silly.
Wait, or does it? Oh, that's...
No, it does.
And now we have Amoonguss by itself with its typical "all my friends are dead" syndrome.
Yeah, okay. I guess GG. Yeah, that. I mean, yeah. I did not see Surf coming at all. I forgot Surf was in the game.
Yeah, and since they had Surf
in so long,
there's really not a way to play around that with them having Surf.
Not with Surf. Like with the moveset that I've known on, like we have that game basically won if they don't have any spread moves, but because they did, we were all of a sudden not in great shape. Because like E-Speed, I'm pretty sure just 2 hits, or maybe 3 hits Walking Wake, but.
We've got time for one more.
Okay, yeah, let's go one more. Anyway, I hope you all are enjoying the showcase, by the way. This is honestly like an honor to be able to play VGC on the Games Done Quick channel and have a good friend and, of course, my partner alongside me. Thank you very much to everybody involved. Okay, so this is more of the team that you would typically see. Okay, so Double Genie is pretty cool. They have Tornadus and Landorus Incarnate. They have Ogerpon Water of their own, Incineroar, Fluttermane, and Metagross. So I really like Chen Pao in this matchup. Just in general, like Chen Pao has really good matchups into 4 out of these 6 Pokemon. So I like Chen Pao, but just like in what capacity? Like as a lead? Probably as a lead, honestly. But like I do really need to focus on preserving Chen Pao for Landorus Eye. If they bring it. There's a chance they wouldn't bring it because of Chen Pao and like, well, maybe not Water Ogerpon, but I can also Terra Water Ogerpon to be pretty nice in this matchup, honestly, too. I like Chen Pao. I like Chen Pao Entei lead, actually. And I like Flutter Ogre in the back, I think. We'll see how this goes. Okay, so this is going to be the last exhibition match before we move into the
open team sheet.
Yeah, the open team sheet portion.
A good format. I think this match is really interesting though, because I think if I'm your opponent, I really like my own speed control. I think Tornadus is very important here. Because as you said, the Chen Pao is very threatening. Oh, nice, let's go. It's nice to be proven right on lead.
I mean, this is still a really good lead for us though, because we still output a ton of pressure on these two right now.
Oh yeah, the Metagross I think is an interesting decision from them to lead in this game.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not a huge reason for me right now not to just be like super offensive, especially given what I have in the back here. I like Ice Spinner into Torn. What do they have potentially in the back? I can't see them going for like Bleak Wind plus targeting Pao. Yeah, like honestly, why not? Why not just do this? Like, we force a Terra worst case scenario.
Yeah, and this is actually a position where knowing your damage calculations is really, really important.
Okay.
If the Tornadus hadn't terastallized, Tornadus is usually typically on these kinds of teams very physically defensive, and can be spec'd to survive something like a Chen Pao Ice Spinner if the Chen Pao is Jolly nature. But if you're running an Adamant Chen Pao, then I think this play is always extremely safe.
Okay, well, Entei is a pro dodger and just dodged that Bleak Wind Storm, so that's pretty huge too. Yeah, the Terra Steel did mean that we didn't knock it out with Ice Spinner, but Sacred Sword, honestly, should knock it out next turn, but this is Lando Eye here, so they threaten Tailwind plus knocking out the Pao. I have Water Ogre in the back, so what I really like here actually is protecting Pao, and we bring in Water Ogerpon here. because I think I'm pretty sure they are going to go Tailwind plus trying to knock out the Chen Pao. And they've already Terra'd, so they can't Terra Poison, presumably Terra Poison the Lando Eye. So yeah, they're probably going for Tailwind plus like either Sludge Bomb or Earth Power or whatever on the Pao. And I'm not sure they'd Sludge Bomb the Rain Dance?
Yeah, it was Sandseer Storm, right?
For Sandseer. That's okay. That's fair. I forgot that move existed as well. Okay, so that's fine. Now I can just like Terra Water Ogerpon, redirect, and Ice Spinner.
Well, you can't redirect the Sandseer Storm.
Oh, that is true. In that case, I think we probably just double target. We just double target the Lando and take a KO, but I do have to Terra here. I do have to Terra Ogerpon. Just because I'm pretty sure it's at the range right now where it would die to a Bleak Wind.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. The speed drop from their Bleak Wind Storm on Chen Pao turn 1 really changes this game. Because if they don't get the speed drop, then they have to set up Tailwind before they can set up Rain Dance. And so you also have the chance to dodge those moves.
Okay, that's actually a pretty smart protect there, but I'm pretty sure Bleak Wind won't... Oh, they just went for Tailwind. Okay.
Yeah, this allows them to just double attack the next turn.
The thing is, though, on the next turn, they can only kill... Or they can only knock out one of these Pokemon. I'm pretty sure. Now that we've terrestrialized Ogerpon, I think they can only knock out one. So I'm just going to do the same thing.
I think it might be close, because the Sandseer Storm is going to do a little bit more damage. Your +1 special defense, but you no longer resist it. And then a single target Bleak Wind Storm.
Yeah, it might be close. Yeah, okay. I keep forgetting about Sandseer Storm.
I think if you'd protected Chen Pao that turn, Bleak Wind Storm is still a spread move, and so still has the 75% reduction, or the 25% reduction. It does 75% of the normal damage.
Yeah.
That gives you a better chance to survive. I'm still not sure how offensive the Tornadus is, because we know it's very, very slow. So it could be just very bulky, or it could have, a pretty significant special attack investment. Based on the damage it did to Chen Pao, it doesn't look very offensive, so I think there might have been a chance for Ogerpon to survive that turn.
Yeah, so I think this is pretty much over, though, because, like, if they Sandseer... yeah, it's not looking very good. But yeah, like, that, I will be upfront with you, I am not very good at close team sheet, because I just straight up forget what I just saw like 2 turns before.
Relatable.
But yeah, I'm basically like, I'm pretty dead here.
That's wild. I don't know, that protect from them feels a little greedy.
Close team sheet is a very acquired skill, and you are just, and like, you're about to enter your 2nd year playing VGC, where you only, in terms of like the competitive formats locally, like, you've only ever had open team sheet. So you don't spend a ton of time on ladder simply because it doesn't always apply to your to what you have to do for your environment at locals or at regionals. So you can learn from closed team sheet ladder, and some people actually prefer closed team sheet ladder because they like the mind games of figuring out what is my opponent actually running, besides just the 6 mons you're looking at. But I genuinely believe that, like, Open Team Sheet makes competitive Pokemon significantly more accessible, to the point where we had our largest regionals in Pokemon history literally last weekend at Charlotte. There was, like, what, over 800 people there for VGC Masters?
Yeah, I think it was like, what? It was definitely in the 800s, if not in the 900s.
I think 900s might be all age divisions combined. Competitive Pokemon is also separated into age divisions as well. So, like, there's juniors, which I actually straight up don't remember the age ranges anymore between juniors and seniors. I do know that seniors stop at, what, 16 or 17?
I think it's if you... Oh, it's either if you turn 16 or if you turn 17 during the season, like during that year.
Yeah.
I can't remember which age. I think it's if you turn 17. So I think, like, if you can start the year at 16, but if your birthday is, say, in, April, then, that season you would be in seniors.
Yeah. Okay, so that is going to do it for the ranked battle section of this. I think when we come back from an ad break, we are going to do best of 3s, best of 3 open team sheet between Jacob and myself. We'll see how that goes.
Yes.
So, a lot more fun.
Yeah, it'll be a lot more clear what's going on. Jay won't have to, neither party will have to figure out what in the world is the moveset on this Pokemon. And I'll have some team sheets via the PokePace website for folks to follow along at home. So you'll have the same information that both of our competitors will have. But for right now, this is just your reminder to get up, stretch, take care of yourselves. And if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to press the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel as well, and go to twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick to watch our shows live. And also, Unapologetically Black and Fast will be live on February 17th and 18th. Come celebrate by watching a weekend full of speedruns and black joy, and use the !UBAF command in Twitch chat for more information. You can find the, everything that you need for that event there. So we'll be right back in just a few minutes, so stick around and we'll... Alright everyone, welcome back to Passion Project, as I almost forget the name of my own show because I'm doing something else at the same time. We are in the middle of our exhibition matches here on our VGC 101 episode. So we're actually going to have Jay, or TGH, go against our commentator Jacob as we go into our open team sheet format. So what that means is that, folks, Jay, what team are you using?
The one with Ogerpon and Chenpao.
Cool, I have to select the correct overlay here.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. So
Okay.
for the folks at home, this is gonna be, I'm gonna be posting into the Twitch chat. Ooh, don't F12 this. Don't
What?
do that.
Ooh.
Don't inspect, don't inspect element. Alright, so, the first link that I'm posting in chat is the, team sheet, the first team sheet that Jacob's going to be using, and the second link I'm posting is going to be the team that Jay is using, that he was just using on ladder. So, yeah, I think I'm ready to go on my end, because I'm controlling the, you'll notice the fancy little overlay on the top and bottom right.
Yeah.
Top right, bottom left. I will be revealing information as it becomes relevant. Shoutouts to Skeletom, who I've seen in chat, who designed this tournament overlay software called Tourkoal, Tourkoal. But yeah. Alright, without any further ado, should be all good to go. You can go ahead and enter team preview.
Okay, let's go. Good luck, have fun, Jacob.
Yeah, good luck, have fun, Jay.
Good luck, have fun. Let's go. Okay,
What?
so...
I've never seen this team before.
Oh, yeah, well, it's, I've deceived you. I've tricked you. All right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like things can get like pretty quiet here. I think like for me the big thing is trying to find, of course, like for my team, the main mode is the gouging fire, trying to howl next to a bunch of my physical attackers. So seeing like what stops that, and then how I'd be able to play around that. How I'd be able to play around Jay's counterplay to my boosting of physical attackers.
Water Ogerpon Mirror, just two friends water absorbing each other. Alright, good luck, have fun, both of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amber. Okay, bet.
Alright.
Alright, we've got Gouging Fire and Chen Pao on Jacob's side. And Fluttermane, and I have what in the world is the other one? They're blocked.
It's Ogerpon.
Thank you. They're so teeny.
Yeah, it's not even on the screen.
Oop, you are not fainted. You have to wrestle.
Not yet.
I immediately marked Fluttermane as a feint instead of booster energy is used.
Nah, they were just foreseeing the end of this first turn.
Yes.
Ooh.
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 Which one is it? Oh, it's the Ogerpon.
Incoming huge attack from Ogerpon, by the way.
I guarantee you clicked follow me. Literally no question in my mind you clicked follow me.
Nah. Nah.
No, it's crazy that you wanted to preserve your fairy type to hit my dragon and dark types.
Ooh,
No.
Howl on the Gouging Fire.
Yeah, I love Gouging Fire. I think Gouging Fire plus Chen Pao is an incredibly strong duo. Because as we can see in this first turn, both of my Pokemon outspeed both of Jay's, which allows me to just put on a ton of offensive pressure.
Yeah, and at the same time, like, honestly, Ogerpon is, like, kind of pivotal in this matchup for me because it is, it's the Pokemon that's keeping Fluttermane safe right now.
Mm-hmm. I like how we have the Entei variant of this battle theme playing right now.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Oh, Jay, we do have a problem of health bars are being covered by the overlay, which is exactly what I was fearing when I designed it. Yeah.
Oh, that's probably only on the, it's probably, like, during the move. Like, during the move, like, the health bars can be, like, wherever, essentially. But, like, right now, for instance, they shouldn't be covered.
Okay, yeah, no, I see it.
If we need to get rid of the overlay, I guess we can. But...
No, it should be okay. Just go.
Okay.
Just if you get a clutch survive, just let us know.
Okay.
So for folks who are wondering, I designed the like the spacing for the names and everything like that. Literally because like the icons are tiny, we want you to be able to see them. But I was using a mock-up image that has like the move selection UI, not realizing that it could block the health bars in the middle of moves being used. Because I was like, Jay, give me a screenshot. And he gave me a screenshot. He gave me this screenshot, basically. And UI design is a 2 out of 10 on my end here. I'm normally much better at UI design than this. Oh, we're getting a Terra on, Oh, actually, I forgot to reveal the, Pokemon on Jacob's side. It is... Jacob, what's your Mon that you sent out after Chen Pao fainted?
That's the one that just terrestrialized.
Thank you.
That Ogerpon.
Oh.
My queen. Well, that's a bummer.
I was very.
That
worried
is a
I wouldn't get him.
bummer.
No, it's a good play, though.
This is going to bring Jacob down to his last 2 Pokemon. Raging Bolt. Very interesting choice here.
Speak more with that, Amber. Tell me why that's an interesting choice. What do you mean by that?
Mostly just because long Pokemon go burr. I actually think Raging Bolt in general is quite strong in this format. Probably much stronger than Walking Wake. Using both of the Scarlet exclusive paradoxes here that aren't event only, Walking Wake. Raging Bolt with Life Orb in particular is just so strong. Why is it shiny locked? I want that electric blue.
Yeah, man. It's such a bummer that, like, all of the good Pokemon are shiny locked.
Alright, so Jay's gonna get the Sunny Day up. That is gonna activate the photosynthesis on the Raging Bolt, so that is going to up its special attack. I'm not entirely clear. Unless it's... I assume it's just to reduce the power of the Ivy Cudgel, right?
Yes.
Yeah, no. That was a very good play.
You were wondering why I had Sunny Day on Torn.
Yeah. I mean, you got me.
We were talking before the show. It's like I can't wait to hear about why you have Sunny Day on Tornado. It's like you're hearing about it right now.
Well, no, it's because the slot used to be a Raging Bolt and it turned into a Water type, and so it feels a little bit... There's a small bit of anti-synergy there, having Sunny Day on a team where you also have a Water type. But the two things, number one, I mean, Ogerpon still did a pretty good amount of damage.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Even with the sun up, and yeah, you're able to use the sun. Let's go.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah, Doug, you gave me photosynthesis.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, so Thunderclap is Raging Bolt's signature move, and it is actually quite powerful because it has priority. Priority means that it's gonna go first, similar to like why Tornadus has Prankster as its ability. It's also time to mark the Fluttermane is fainted. So priority just means what order this move is going to go in. Like, Quick Attack is always a +1 priority. And that means that against moves that don't have any priority or are at 0 priority, Quick Attack will go first. What is the priority on Thunderclap?
It's just +1.
Just +1?
Yeah,
right, it is Electric Sucker Punch, you're right. I have been out of the game for a little bit. Every time I keep trying to crawl back in, I just keep getting distracted by other projects. So this Entei's gonna have to do a lot of work to be able to cope with this Ogerpon and this Raging Bolt. Especially since the Raging Bolt has photosynthesis active during Sunny Day's duration.
Yeah, this is a really important turn. To see what the Entei locks into.
The Protect animation on this is actually hilarious.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
I guess that's Bandit in the Sun, yeah.
Yeah, choice band in the sun. That'll do.
Yeah, I should have just protected both. That's on me. Because if I protect both, then I get rid of Tailwind. I have Follow Me Pressure. Yeah, man.
Jeez, that damage and the burn. Like, the burn doesn't affect Raging Bolt in terms of its offensive capabilities, but that's still just rough.
Yeah, the burn doesn't mean much.
No,
yeah,
the burn
it's just
means
insult to injury.
No, I think the burn means there's no way I win this. I think without the burn, I can survive on like 1 HP, but with the burn, it's turbo over. Well, maybe not turbo, but like it is. I think it's over.
Whoops! What am I doing? Say misclick.
Also, some Pokemon got their models redesigned, and Entei is one of them, and it looks so good now.
Set.
Jay is in critical thinking mode. Jacob's definitely playing from behind at this point. But losing Entei is a big deal.
Yeah, nah, GG's.
There we go. Yeah, that was a super close game.
Yeah, there we go.
The hope was, the thing is, like, without the burn, I'm able just to, like, click Sucker Punch freely into Tornadus if you miss that Bleak Wind, or if Bleak Wind doesn't KO, because I have, like, a little bit more HP after the burn damage.
Yeah.
But with the burn, Tornadus can... You can, like, stall out my Thunderclaps, like, if you get every turn right, basically. And so I have no shot to win.
Yeah, it was...
unless I get every turn right.
Yeah, I feel like even right down to, like, 2 turns before that game, like, ended, like, it was anybody's game. Like, Flare Blitz, yeah, especially with Flare Blitz, like, Flare Blitz is a 10% chance to burn, as opposed to Sacred Fire, which is a 50. And, like, honestly, I didn't even realize that when I burned you. Like, that was... Yeah, that was pretty lucky on my part. I really do need to be careful about setting Sunny Day, though. Because, yeah, I honestly forgot that you were Life Orbed on Bolt.
Oh, yeah, it does silly damage.
Oh, yeah.
I love Life Orb Bolt. But yeah, no, I definitely misplayed by not just double protecting on the last turn of Tailwind.
Yeah.
So there's definitely points in games, like whether it's Tailwind or Trick Room, like these speed control moves that we deem them. Tailwind obviously increases the speed stat of your team temporarily. Trick Room, as explained earlier, it flips the how speed works on its head, where the slowest Pokemon is moving first instead of the fastest Pokemon, not counting for moves with priority. But double protecting to stall out these moves that have like a duration, or even weather like rain and sun or sand, or even snow, stalling those out can be, with protecting on both your Pokemon, can be a big deal in trying to like kind of close a game, especially if you've eliminated the opponent's means of resetting their field move, or even terrain like Psychic Terrain and Mystery Terrain, stuff like that.
All right, good luck, have fun, game 2.
Yeah, good luck, have fun. Sorry, I'm quiet. I don't love my lead. Once I locked it in, I'm not in love with it.
Oh, that's an interesting lead. So why are you not particularly happy about this lead?
I mean, it's a good lead considering what I led.
Oh yeah, no, into this I think it's fine. Into the Ogerpon Flutter main, I think it still just forces some 50-50s that I don't like. On the Follow Me turns, or if Fluttermane goes for Moonblast or Dazzling Gleam, because the special attack booster, it's just strong. Like, it's just, like, really, really strong. So I always have to be careful around the Flutter. But this is good. Okay.
Alright, the Entei is terrestrializing into normal, which means like, you've already seen it on screen, Jay is locking into the extreme speed on Entei.
I am not. I am.
You are not.
I am not.
I'm not paying attention. I can read. I can read good, I swear. Making a fool live on the air. So the normal terrestrialization here is defensive, I assume because of the Ivy Cudgel from the Wellspring Ogerpon, correct?
Yes. Yeah, that's the main reason.
Mm-hmm.
Among other things, but I don't want to give away anything right now. Somebody might be listening.
Who's to say?
I hate Sacred Fire's animation. It looks like it's supposed to be a special move. It's a physical move, and I hate it.
Yeah, Jay, I don't know if you remember when I said I was making big swings, but this is a big swing, and we're hoping we get it.
Okay.
Linty out here swinging for the fences.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna be honest, I was doubling that slot anyway.
Oh, fair enough.
So, for folks at home, what it means to double on a slot means you're using attacks on targeting both, both of your attacks that you have, you're targeting on the same left or right slot of your opponents. In this case, Jacob was targeting the Amoonguss with both Raging Bolt and Ogerpon, which means that the Rage Powder that TGH used to draw the attacks of the Ogerpon and the Raging Bolt over was kind of a whatever move, kind of. Not a bad play by any means, but like it's just kind of rendered a little null when your opponent is already double targeting the redirector.
Yeah, I did have like an idea behind that play though.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
One thing that's really, really nice about the battle UI in this game is that at any point you can view the full team of 6 that your opponent could be bringing. Obviously, TGH and Jacob both have their open team sheets, so they know what the 6 Pokemon are. It's just more of a reminder of what did they bring, what could they possibly be bringing in, and so on and so forth. There we go. And yeah, Pokemon is based on a mix of real animals and often like mythical creatures or yokai. So that's pretty neat. Alright, the Ogerpon goes down on Jacob's side. But that was definitely a ploy for the Switch to be safe for gouging fire there.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, with Chen Pao as our last Pokemon on Jacob's side. He still has Raging Bolt in the back. It is still definitely a option, but You don't want to bring out Raging Bolt. When it's a special attacker, it doesn't get a whole lot of benefit from Shin Pao's ability Sword of Ruin. Sword of Ruin lowers the defense of all Pokemon on the field aside from the Sword of Ruin holder.
Yeah, this is tough now, because this is definitely not the duo I want to have on the field.
Yeah.
With this duo on Jacob's side of the field.
Fair. Counterpoint, this is the duo that I want on the field.
Well, yeah, by process of elimination, yes. Or transactive theory, or whatever, whatever it's called.
That's good shit.
Yeah, so Jay's in a much more precarious position than he was last game. He doesn't have his Amoonguss on the field, or even available anymore,
Wow.
and
That was for science.
That's +1 Sucker Punch for you.
Yeah,
And
that was
my Fluttermane is not frail.
that was my question. I was trying to figure out how bulky you are, because you have to be. I'll tell you, you have to be very bulky to live that.
Yeah, it's not frail at all. Okay, so yeah, that is game 2 to Jacob, probably. There's nothing really I can do here.
I don't
yeah,
know,
that
man.
Entei would have to do a lot of work against the other 3 that Jacob has.
Hey, you should click E-Speed into my Gouging Fire, though.
No, I would never.
No,
I would
but, like,
never.
it would be funny. You should do it.
No, it wouldn't be funny. Trust me, it wouldn't be funny.
Let's go. Who was it? Oh, it was Chase. Shout out Chase Mateo. For asking, he ran Gouging Fire very briefly. And asked me if I had ever gotten the burn on something with it, because he just had like very little luck with that. So there it is. There's the Gouging Fire burn, baby.
That was just for entertainment value. I knew the game was over anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, GG's.
Oh, GG's. It's the least we could do after forcing everyone to sit through that like million-year-long Alolan Muck game is
Oh my
just have a couple
God.
quick ones, or semi-quick ones.
Yeah. That's the beauty of it. Is like the Gouging Fire team, yeah, it's like very bulky, very setup oriented, but games are still over pretty quick. Like either I'm able to win games reasonably quickly, or I mean, like game 1, I just get outplayed, and there's not as much of a defensive backbone to survive like multiple rounds of Tailwind, for example.
Oh, I got a communication error.
Oh,
It didn't boot me though.
Okay.
sure, whatever you
Oh, we're
say,
fine.
video
Okay.
game.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Okay, cool. So it's like I didn't get any errors.
No issues.
Shoot, I'm trying to remember what you brought last game.
Yeah, don't ask me, I don't remember either.
Nah, I got it. It was a Amoonguss Entei with Torn Flutter in the back.
Muck for regional camp? Regional champ 2K24.
Absolutely not.
So far, it's the only team I've seen today that has yet to beat me. It's the Muck team. Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm kind of saying the same thing.
Yeah, this is tough. It's always a tough match against Jacob, for sure. Like we play at our locals all the time.
Oh yeah.
But like, yeah, it's always tough, and they're always good sets.
when
we've had this conversation a couple of times, and like most of the time, whenever I'm playing UJ, I'm playing you, the person, not whatever Pokemon you've got on the field.
Yeah, so I when Jay and I met Jacob, it was at a premiere challenge, a local premiere challenge, and Jacob was running. I only remember the 4 that you brought, and it was Screamtail. This was Regulation C, so the Treasures of Ruin, so Chien-Pao, Ting-Lu, Chi-Yu, and we don't talk about Wo-Chien, were finally legal in the format, and Jacob was running Rotom Wash, Corviknight, Screamtail, and what in the world was your 4th Pokemon back then? I don't remember. Fluttermane, yeah.
I think I had King Gambit on that team.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that team was awesome.
That team was great. That was the team that you were playing. Absolutely mopped the floor with me because I was undefeated, and so were you, and you absolutely wiped the floor with me. Since you missed the beginning, what is VGC? VGC is the officially supported Pokemon format, which stands for Video Game Championships.
Yeah, that same event though, because Amber, you and Jay were both running.
We were running the same team because we were getting ready for Hartford Regionals in last May.
Yeah, because I ended up playing Jay later on in top 8, and that's where I learned about the power of choice band struggle from Jay's Garchomp.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's how I lost game 1 of that set. Was Screamtail had disabled the attack it choice locked into. Couldn't do any damage to, or couldn't click a damaging move, but was locked in a struggle, which, for educational purposes, struggle is a 50 base power typeless move that is automatically selected whenever a Pokemon has no other options, no other moves to click. Either you run out of power points or, whatever might happen. But yeah, that Garchomp with the 50 base power choice band struggles was just doing too much damage to my Screamtail after I'd locked it into that. It's whack.
So the double protect on turn 1 is really important sometimes for scouting what the opponent is doing. For folks who are wondering, why did Jacob just Burning Bulwark, which is another protect style move similar to Spiky Shield, except instead of a move making contact and you taking damage for hitting the shield, Burning Bulwark will burn the attacker if it makes contact with them. So double protecting on turn 1 is really important for scouting if you are unsure what someone is doing, maybe baiting a terrestrialization like we see here on Jay's end, where Jay has terrestrialized the Ogerpon, but he has good reason for that, because the Chien-Pao can hit for super effective damage on the grass typing of Ogerpon with, or neutral damage at least, with Ice Spinner. And Burning Bulwark, not Burning Bulwark, Gouging Fire is the name of this Pokemon, would hit for neutral as well on Ogerpon if Jay did not terrestrialize it.
Okay.
Deep in thought. There we go. Ogerpon, the great friend. I mean, it's true, though. A Focus Sash has been used. I am vibing to the music right now. This music is great. The Area Zero, not a word.
No,
Area Zero
I
battle
agree
theme is
with
great.
you. I agree with you. The Area Zero is a great theme. I agree.
all the times we've led these, we've gotten these leads, Jay. I mean, I have simply been outplayed the first couple of turns.
Honestly, that play could have gone very wrong for me on turn 2.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if I just Ice Spin or Flutter Mane.
Yeah, I was banking on you not doing that.
For folks who have not played Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, just go listen to the OST. The OST is actually incredible. Like, if you do nothing else with that game, go listen to some of its battle themes. Some of its area themes are super chill. Great OST.
Okay, so Flutter's gonna go down this turn, I'm assuming. But
So is Chen Pao.
I'm a little bit my back is a little sketchy. Assuming you have bolts.
Why would you assume that?
No reason. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is the dude.
It is the dude.
Oh,
We've got Tornadus and Chen Pao.
Chen
that-
Wow.
Yeah,
Chen
you're
Pao.
you're not kidding when you say your back's a little sketchy there.
Yeah, a little bit. I went with a more offensive back. And that probably wasn't the play.
Now remind me, Tornadus is not a physical attacker.
No.
Is it not? It's
No,
Bleakwind,
no.
Bleakwind special, right? I'm not hallucinating this.
That is correct.
Like, I want to commentate more, but like the players can hear me.
No, keep
That's
going.
fair.
Yeah, tell me what Jay's clicking.
Tell me what Jay is clicking.
Please.
Oh my
Sorry.
goodness.
Please tell me what Jay's clicking.
Yeah, so all of a sudden this is not looking so good for me.
Yeah, this is Chen Pao versus the world right now. And I don't know your damage calcs with your Chen Pao, but I don't know if it's gonna be able to reasonably solo either of these like both of these Pokemon at once.
Yeah, no, like I just brought the wrong back two Pokemon. I think Tornadus was valid, but
Ooh.
I think Chen Pao was a mistake. Basically, I brought Chen Pao to cover for bolts.
Yeah,
Because I knew Bolt would be an issue, but like I mean Entei would have been sketchy too. Like if I don't bring Tornadus, like honestly, like I don't know if late game Tailwind was like would have been worthless there. Like late game Tailwind was literally not an issue. It was just like I needed probably Entei in that spot. Or I needed like a God, no, not like even Entei is bad there. Like what could
Are we changing teams, by the way?
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah, I'll
Just
use
as a time
the
check,
next...
it is 12. We have about 45 minutes left in the show itself. I think we do one more best of 3 and then close out with some closing thoughts and Q&A and telling people what tools exist.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. GG's on the set win, by the way, Jacob.
Oh, good games, Jay.
Yeah, good comeback.
No,
Good comeback as well.
Thank you. I do think Entei is better than Tornadus there. I think like you're still kind of stuck in the same. You're stuck in the same predicament with Entei as you were like game 1 and 2, where it's like, what do you lock into?
Mm-hmm.
For the folks at home, Jacob, which team sheet should I be linking?
The Screamtail one.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So first, for chat at home, the first team sheet I am linking is Jay's Reuniclus nonsense, which is using a Reuniclus that I caught, a shiny Reuniclus that I hunted. And he is borrowed. And then
It's
the
not
second team sheet that I'm
nonsense, though.
linking is some Screamtail nonsense from Jacob.
Wait, I don't think I have a matchup into this.
Uh-oh.
I was gonna ask, very important question. How's your size span matchup?
Actually, wait, no, I think no. I got tools. I can figure this out.
So okay, so for those of you who are new to like the meta and stuff like that, or new to the scene, size spam refers to teams that make heavy use of psychic terrain and usually trick room and expanding force. Maybe not so trick room anymore with like Iron Crown going around, which is quite fast. But teams that take that make good use of Indeedee and psychic terrain to just deal massive damage with a move called expanding force, which becomes a spread move in psychic terrain. So basically, I am playing the devil for this set. is
This
what
is
I'm
true.
saying. Yes. Oh, this team seems.
And yes, I've named every Reuniclus I've ever owned Fetus. All right, for a long time. All right, funny information about me. For a long time, I had no idea how to pronounce Reuniclus until like maybe a year or two ago, and as a result, I just called it Fetus. It is one of my favorite Trick Room users, so I had to get it shiny.
Yeah, no, I think I have tools into size spam. I don't love the matchup, but I think we can play around it.
Let's see how this goes. I actually need to pull up the team sheet. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, you can have the mouse.
Yes.
Well, no, you don't need my team sheet.
No.
If you ask me a question about my team, I promise I will answer honestly.
Of course, this is Terra Dark Amoongus, by the way.
No,
Of
this
course
one
it
isn't.
is.
No, it's not.
What?
No, I think
Oh,
you're
I'm looking at the wrong sheet then. I'm looking at the wrong
Yeah.
sheet. Hang on.
The other
Sorry.
team I had was.
I need
yes.
the mouse. Yeah, the other team is Terra Dark Amoongus. Okay, this is fine then.
All
me
right,
tell you-
so we're leading Indeedee and Urshifu, and Chiyu in Walking Wake. Saying this so I don't select the wrong things.
Okay, so
This
Yeah,
song is
we're-
also a bop. If you did not get the, if you don't have the DLC, and you did not get the mystery gift for the mythical Pechaberry to trigger the Pecharunt quest, you're missing out on a banging track. I'm very curious what's going through both players' heads right now, because, like stated earlier, Jacob's tools into this archetype of team with Indeedee is questionable. It is a situation for sure.
yeah, like this
Questionable
is
is crazy.
very. This is just a super volatile turn one. I think for both of us, and like there are like 5 different things that could happen here.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, this one is certainly one of them.
Yep.
Rip Walking Wake.
Yeah.
The poor guy. No way. Okay, that's fine.
So the Urshifu avoided that, right? Did I see that
The
right?
Urshifu dodged it. Yes.
Yeah, Ursh dodged.
Amazing. So what Psychic Terrain does on the field, by the way, is that it blocks all priority moves, and I believe that's on both sides of the field, correct?
Yeah. You can use priority moves into your own. So like technically, my King Gambit, I could sucker punch my own Chi-Yu.
Right.
If I wanted to lose.
That's a good strategy. You should do it.
I mean, didn't we see someone like? Oh God, what move was it that there was a regionals where someone deliberately attacked their own side. And I don't remember what the mons were or what the situation was. I just remember seeing that at a regional, and apparently someone wrote an article about it because video game article authors were devoid of content in that moment.
Yeah, no, there are a lot of them. You know, there's the side Will-O-Wisp to avoid
Oh, it was that,
like
I think.
sleep. But I think the big one and I think my favorite play ever is Tommy Coolene in, I think it was 2017 U.S. Nationals. Had a Kartana. It was Kartana next to Incineroar with his own Snorlax in the back, across from a Snorlax that was boosted up to +6. But yeah, it was across from like the Snorlax plus a Charizard Y. And so his opponent threatened, Tailwind plus just sweep everything. Because the opposing Snorlax was out of range of the... sorry, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do here. The opposing Snorlax was out of range of Kartana's Sacred Sword at neutral attack.
Mm-hmm.
So all that Tommy's opponent had to do was just, stall out the fake out turn from Incineroar, and then Charizard plus Snorlax can sweep through everything. So Tommy calls the double protect, swaps Incineroar out to his own Snorlax that was at like pretty low health. Okay, cool, this is fine. Swapped out to his own Snorlax, side Sacred Sworded. So it targeted his own Snorlax on the switch in, knocked it out so he could get the Beast Boost on his Kartana to boost its attack, so that now he did threaten the KO on Snorlax. Also gets to switch his Incineroar back into the field, lowers the Snorlax's attack, which isn't super relevant, but crucially resets the fake out pressure on a turn where his opponent couldn't protect either Pokemon. Fake out goes into the Charizard Y, Sacred Sword at +1 does OHKO the opposing Snorlax, and
there are 3 things that
there's
are
your game. It was so cool.
Number
Just such an incredible play.
I'm so proud of that shiny Reuniclus with a mark. Beast Boost, by the way, for someone who is wondering, Bees Boost. They gotta give us like a male Combi evolution with Bees Boost. Give us like a Soldier Bee evolution or something. That'd be great.
Oh, I think my team sheet's wrong. I'm sorry.
In what way is it wrong?
Oh, actually, I think I threw. Yeah. Oops. It's fine. Because the team sheet error, this would have been a game loss anyway. Yeah.
Wait, what's wrong?
I don't know what I was trying to do there. I don't have Protect on Amoonguss. I have Clear Smog.
Oh, okay.
Which
okay.
strictly makes this matchup better for you. But
George.
But yeah, I asked what I get for not running Black Glasses King Gambit, because Kowtow doesn't guarantee the OHKO there. Good games. I'm trying to figure out how I beat that.
Honestly, that definitely could have gone either way, just from the start. That lead was super sketchy. Like just
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the four Pokemon that were on the field, like there were like like I said, there were like 5 different things that could have happened.
Yeah, no, that lead is super volatile. Which I mean, like, is good. It is good for the Trick Room player.
Yeah.
To be clear.
Honestly,
But-
there's a reason I stopped playing Psy Spam. Like it just I did not enjoy like the pure 50-50 nature of like a lot of different things involving the team and the way it went about things. But yeah, I mean when it does work, it is fun. But I don't like how inconsistent it feels because of that.
Yeah, it's a big butt.
Also, for folks at home, when Jacob said that he had a team sheet error, what that means is in your typical actually sanctioned event, or even just your online events that use open team sheet, if your team sheet is wrong, you are typically given a what we call a game loss. So you don't lose the full match, but you would lose the first game of a best of 3, and be basically playing from behind as punishment for giving the incorrect information to your opponent, and you'd be asked to correct the team sheet, or in some cases outright you are your Pokemon is removed from the team for the remainder of the day at some regionals. Nicholas and Dee and Walking Wake Chi-Yu. Interesting.
Right.
All right.
Cool.
This is another banger track.
I'm bummed that I can't hear the music. What song did you pick?
Terrapicos 2.
Yeah, the
Ooh, okay,
Tropico's
yeah.
final theme.
Oh, also, because I forgot. Go look, have fun, Jay.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah.
Also, yes,
Okay,
if you suspect a team sheet to be incorrect, or if you have any other issues, always raise your hand at locals and call for a judge.
So for Psy Spam teams, this is a pretty predictable play, honestly, on turn 1. If you ever see an Indeedee plus a Pokemon that can set Trick Room, Indeedee using Follow Me is pretty substantial. It's pretty common, honestly, to let the other Pokemon set up Trick Room. However, Snarl really kind of throws a wrench.
Yeah,
in
you got the
things a little bit.
double special attack drop, which is it's kind of whatever on Indeedee, but especially bad on Reuniclus.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. So, for folks who are just joining us for the evening, we are actually doing a competitive Pokemon 101. So we're currently in our exhibition matches between our guest Jay and our other guest Jacob. And we're doing open team sheet format. If you're unfamiliar with competitive Pokemon, this is VGC, or Video Game Championships, is the officially supported format that you'll see played at regionals and world championships. And the first hour of stream was a breakdown of very common VGC terms, building blocks, stuff like that. And then you have another hour where Jay played what we call closed team sheet ladder matches with random people online. And now we're doing open team sheet matches here with our 2 players here. Oh, that's...
That was probably a damage roll, by the way. The Hydroseam and the Ursaluna.
Are
Probably.
you
Probably a roll.
Are you saying that?
Yes, I'm saying that.
Well, no. I mean, like, are you saying that seriously, or is this
No.
a joke? Okay.
That thing was 5 times dead over.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm like,
Oh,
I
God.
don't. It's like, Jay,
I
I don't think it is.
I expected at least 1 protect there.
No, I live that. My walking wake. I didn't mean to. I did run the damage calc.
Of
I
course
didn't,
you did. Oh my god.
I didn't.
Of
I
course.
would have made the same play regardless, but I double checked on the calc, and I do always live that. That expanding force.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, like Snarl, like Chi-Yu, especially, especially with Snarl, is very valuable in size
Nice
fan.
capture being taken.
Yeah, whoops, that was me apparently applying too much pressure to my my controller.
One thing I'm gonna do, Jay, is I will click protect with both Pokemon.
It's true.
Well, why didn't you do that last turn?
Because I needed to catch the Ursaluna on the switch-in, or the Torkoal. Either one of them, feints to the Hydro Steam.
I'm not buying it.
I was really nervous, though, because I doubled the Reuniclus slot. So I had to hit the Snarl. I had
That
to
is
hit the
true.
Snarl into
Snarl
Reuniclus.
can miss.
It's
That is true.
95%.
Yeah, like it missed Urshifu last game. And that actually probably ended up being...
Oh, shoot, it did. Yeah,
it
because you
probably
lived
ended up
on,
being
like,
important.
less than 10%. Oh, man, it was important. I didn't have to sack a Pokemon. This is also for science. I don't know if Gambit takes this, even when I Terra Dragon. Oh, Boise. Oh, and you just D-Gleam.
Ooh.
Ha! That's silly.
Bye, Gambit.
Yeah, but now you can just
She did her best.
do stuff with Chi-Yu.
No way. Oh! That's okay. As long as I
Yeah,
hit
you can
the
just
DD.
protect. You just
Torkoal
protect
going,
and stuff like that, yeah.
And this one is for the fans. This one is for all my fans who
The
stayed up
game's
late.
over now. It's
Game's over.
There's
Scream
the
Tail hit the
Scream
field.
Tail.
And this one has protect too. That's BS.
Shiny Scream Tail, so pretty. It is
It
such a
is.
good shiny.
She's the
really
best
is.
Pokemon. Yeah, no, this was my answer to Scarf Urshifu if that came out again.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, so now they can just double protect and stall out the last turn of Trick Room, and then Torkoal's pretty much a dead duck on the fields, or a dead tortoise. Which is unfortunate.
Ooh, I know the
I mean,
play.
it does bring us to our game 3 at least.
But we have to play this out, though.
Oh yeah, I mean, you could play this out. I don't have high hopes for this tortoise right
Here,
now.
I'll let you get the full effect. I'll let you.
Jay!
Yeah.
No, I was encoring you into Eruption, so just in case you lived the Dark Pulse, your Eruption was doing like 4%. But no, you're giving it to me. That's crazy.
No, I want to let the people see what Screamtail does.
Okay. Bet. We can do this, Jay. I won't attack you. I will win this game with you struggling. Mark my words.
Torkoal must do an encore.
Oh no, my Protosynthesis. Just kidding. I always get that booster on me.
Oh, I forgot Sun was up. I marked photosynthesis or booster energy as used.
No, I'm not gonna make people sit here while I encore disable the Torkoal and from protect. Oh shoot, you hit the double. Oh wait, no, that's not a double.
it failed
No,
last
No,
turn.
that's
failed
his
last
first
turn.
one. It failed last one.
Yeah. Either way.
Oh, this is what happens when you get friends playing against each other.
No, I'm excited to see how much the Dazzling Gleam does. Because, like, honestly, I do think it's going to do, like, 15... No way. I do think D-Gleam's
Wow,
going to
the
do,
double!
like, reasonable. I can just do this damage calc. We've got the time.
Stop doing calcs mid-match.
You are, by the way, for folks at home, if you are at a regionals or any sanctioned event, you are not allowed to use a damage calculator in the middle of your set. You're just not.
Oh, that's true. That's good chip.
It did 29 damage, if you're wondering. Oh, I wanted to see how much that eruption would do.
Oh, that's crazy. 29
that's a
damage?
What eruption? Oh, your encore ended. Never mind. Oh my god, I'm out here thinking encore's just infinite.
No,
It feels
it's,
infinite when you're playing Jacob.
yeah. No, it's because he got the double protect to stall out the encore, 'cause it's only 3 turns. No, that 29 damage from that Dazzling Gleam is truly a minimum roll.
Is it
Yeah.
on a single target? I'm guessing
single-
you have that calc for.
Yeah,
Okay.
single target with Chi on the field.
Gotcha.
That's funny. I was gonna say though, I thought it
GG.
would do like 15-20%. Nah, good game.
Yeah, GG's. And
We-
just like most of our sets do, we're going to game 3.
Of course.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
Jay, it was predetermined. There was no other way for this to end.
And we're going to end it with the best theme too.
It's not Cassiopeia. I'm sorry.
It's not Cassiopeia.
It's not.
Look, if I could go back,
You
I
wouldn't.
I would do it. No, I would. I would.
I'll forfeit right now. I'll close the game.
No, it's Kieran 3, which is a giant banger from the Indigo Disc DLC.
That's fair. I just want to listen to the Mochi song.
Oh my god. Shout outs to whoever was the original poster of the person who like of the Ludicolo standing in the middle of the dancing fools. The whole village out here like dancing.
I don't think I saw that, but I love it.
Like it's great. The Ludicolo's just kind of standing there like not vibing, just like looking like a like fish out of water. While everyone's just mochi dancing away. And Arvin just not with the program, just like very stiffly trying to dance.
All right, this is sketch, but we're doing it.
Oh
Oh.
god, Jay. All right.
I love to hear it. Also, for
Don't say "Oh God" until the game's over.
sorry. Good luck, have fun for the
Good
last
luck.
time tonight.
Have fun. Also, good luck. Have fun to the game. Good luck starting the match.
Yeah.
There we
yeah,
go.
Okay,
There
cool.
we go.
I was,
It's
there we
thinking
go.
about it.
I was gonna ask if you were also having the.
Yeah, I was getting the endless communication message.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Alright, we got Walking Wake and Chiyu over on Jacob's side, which is a very solid lead, and then we're leading with Ndidi and Urshifu, which is actually the lead that you won with in game 1, so who knows, maybe it'll actually do you good here. This song is so good, oh my god. This isn't my favorite song in the game. That definitely goes to the AI professor theme, but this is still very good.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait,
Yeah,
what?
I know this play. I'm well versed in this play. Oh. Okay.
Are you though?
Not the helping hand. I think that's still KOs.
Oh, oh my god.
Oh, and it lived by the skin of its teeth.
I mean, I dropped to life orb, but that's really good damage on Ndidi.
That's fair. That's fair. Wow. All right. And the burn on Urshifu, you gotta be kidding.
Insult to injury
You know what?
over here.
You know what? This is what I get for playing Psy Spam. This is what I get for breaking out Psy Spam today. I reap what I sow. Okay. I somehow deserve this.
I'm so sorry.
I mean, it's fine. I would have struggled to set up Trick Room anyway, and when you see what's in the back for me, Okay, that's worse. I am not having fun anymore.
He says while laughing. What does Urshifu
Very
do?
cool.
Absolutely nothing while it's burned.
Very cool.
Well,
Very
Urshifu
cool.
was always going to drop this turn anyway.
Yeah.
The crit on Ndidi just forces me, like, the crit on Ndidi gives me the freedom to not have to hit a what's it called, another heat wave.
Yeah.
Because there's a world where, like, I have to hit heat, or actually, do I care about Urshifu? I maybe. Oh, that's a big crit on Torkoal. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Why'd that do so much?
The serious question, or a serious answer to the question of what does Urshifu do, it can always crit with its signature moves, depending on what, like, it could come in two flavors. Basically, it can come in water or dark. And both have the ability to hit through Protect, which is big. Especially in VGC, where Protect is a very common move. But it also can, it's always guaranteed a critical hit with its signature move, regardless of typing. So, like, you have Surging Strikes, which hits 3 times with the water type Urshifu, but we're playing with the dark type Urshifu here, which is just a Wicked Blow, single strike move. But it does big damage.
As we have
And yeah,
seen.
Urshifu's ability does let it bypass Protect with contact moves, which, you know, is most of Urshifu's move pool that's viable.
Yeah, like, this is basically over at this point, because, like, their Scream Tail outspeeds my Urshifu, even though it's Choice Scarf. So, like, yeah, I'm basically screwed, like, on all accounts. Like, that, like, basically the game, when, like, the beginning went so poorly that I'm just, like, completely unable to recover. I was unable to set up Trick Room, and that's why I said this is going to be super sketch.
Yeah, no, because I assumed that it was going to be Terra Fairy on Ndidi, so that you could get Trick Room up. So I thought it was going to be, like, you know, Urshifu clicks, like U-turn or Wicked Blow, just, like, get damage off, potentially, like, Break Cheese, Focus Sash, and then, like, Terra Fairy to guarantee Trick Room. But that, the way that the turn worked out was even better for me.
Yeah,
the question is,
turn 1 just, like, absolutely threw everything away for Jay.
Yep. Good games. Really good
Good
games.
Screamtail finishing it off is my favorite part. The Beads of Ruin Dazzling Gleam off that base 65 special attack, pretty big.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, great games.
Good, yeah, for sure. Good games.
GG's to you both.
That's both sets where I lost game 1, right?
Yeah,
believe
you
so,
came
yes.
back. You came
Yeah.
back in both games, or both sets, to win the set.
Yeah, let's go. I'm usually awful in game 2s, so I love that.
Okay, so let me get the slides back up. We are
Yeah.
done with the exhibition matches, and we're gonna start with our closing slides here, I guess.
Yeah, so, yeah, like, we've got about a few, like, 10-15 minutes or so left, or maybe 20. No, we got like 15 or so minutes left, but you might be seeing this whole thing and be like, well, this is super cool and all, but, like, where do I start? Where do I pick up the game? And the answer's pretty simple. You can completely heck up the slide and not have it show bullet point by bullet point.
This was
but,
also my fault, for the record.
No, I thought I fixed this. But at any rate, you can find a rental code for a team that you want to try. Sites like VGC Pace and Phalanx Team Builder are great sources for rental codes and just being able to see poke pastes and stuff like that. You can also go to various creators' YouTubes. Jay doesn't show rental codes of his community chaos teams. We'll get more onto what he does in his spare time on YouTube, but in a little bit. But there's players like Aaron Zhang who cover a lot of teams on the competitive ladder, always built by other players, and they share the rental codes of those as well. But yeah, you can also look at ways to build your own team. Sites like Pikalytics has multiple datas on popular stat spreads or movesets or Terra types, things that you would see like, what are other people using? What's very, very common? Phalanx is a Pokemon. Phalanx is also the name of the website, Phalanx Team Builder. It's never been easier or more accessible to get into team building or even just picking up a rental and playing on ladder. You can start playing on Battle Stadium, which is the ladder. And it's also really good if you play with friends. Finding a team building group, even if you're all relatively new to the game, finding a team building group is huge for being able to bounce ideas off each other and just really get feedback and have a I almost said reusable source of like games, but no, what I mean is like you're able to reach out to folks and be like, hey, I want to test out a team I just built in an environment that I can do open team sheet in with someone who will actually offer me feedback, and that's fantastic. That's what Jacob and Jay are a part of. I've seen many people in chat come through that are part of Jay and Jacob's team building group, and just finding like, even if it's not a local team, or not a local team, but even if it's not a local team building group, finding even an online team building group is huge. There are plenty of Discord servers out there that are helpful, as well as places like Reddit where you can get some community feedback as well. LabMouse is another website that's fantastic. It's not listed on this slide, but what's most important is that you have fun when you're trying to get into this.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
That is goal number one, is to have fun.
Am I allowed to link LabMouse in the chat? I have it pulled up.
Send me the link. Actually, hold on. Let me see if I can find the link. Because
it's just labmouse.net.
.net, yeah. Okay.
Well, they have a couple different domains, but I type in .net. But yeah, LabMouse, shout out Popos in the chat for mentioning that. Like, it is so good. LabMouse collects data from all online tours as well as large official events, so things like regional championships, and some, I think they have some mid-season showdowns. But basically every large event, LabMouse will have data for it. They collect all of that to tell you, usage rates, how often Pokemon show up, what kinds of moves, what partners are most common with specific Pokemon. You can search for different cores, things like that. It'll also tell you the common moves and items and Terra types and all of the information that you need to start team building. It is fantastic. The other one that I use a lot is Top Cut Explorer, which is specifically for regional championships. But yeah, Top Cut Explorer is also fantastic. You can go even more in depth specifically into the regionals to see, if you're looking specifically for a team, like what I had done for my Gouging Fire team that we showed off. I wanted to see what other people had built, starting with Gouging Fire, but pairing that specifically with Chen Pao, because I think that core is very, very strong. So I wanted to see, what the other 4 Pokemon were, what people were using as items and Terra types on the Gouging Fire, things like that. You can find through Top Cut Explorer, and that is so helpful. And for the Charlotte Regional, that was just this past weekend. Top Cut Explorer was updated as recently as I think it was updated by Sunday, afternoon, evening. They go quickly on there, and it's so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. So I guess to close, does anybody have any questions? Closing thoughts and Q&A before we go. I think we have a couple minutes left.
Yeah, so someone's asking, is it free? Like, all the sites that I've linked, are all free to use. The sites are entirely free. The game Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is unfortunately and obviously not free, but you don't have to buy the DLC to be able to use rentals that use DLC Pokemon, if you're just looking to dip your toes into things. You don't need the DLC either to trade for Pokemon that are exclusive to the DLC, because the update just makes it so that they exist in the game. But yeah, definitely go take a look at the sites that we listed. How do you find events? That's a very good question. So
that is a good question.
So Pokemon.com, which is the official website for the Pokemon series, they do have a event locator, and that's going to be via Play Pokemon events. So if I grab this is going to link to US events, but you can obviously look through your own area and region as well. That will list local stores or areas that are doing. And it's not always a store, but very often it's a store that does locals, but you can also look out for premiere challenges and stuff like that. And it's also how you find Pokemon TCG events as well. If you saw this and was like, VGC ain't for me, but maybe you want to get started in the TCG, that's another great way to find events for that. And TCG being the trading card game. What is Trick Room? Trick Room is you probably heard that a lot during the last match that we did between TGH and Jacob. What Trick Room does is it's a move that when it is set, it turns the whole faster Pokemon goes first on its head. It means that the Pokemon with the slower speed stat will typically move first. Or in the case of moves with priority, like Quick Attack or Thunderclap you saw on Raging Bolt earlier tonight, or even Sucker Punch, the Pokemon, within that priority bracket, so +1, +2, +3, or whatever, the slower Pokemon will always go first. If two Pokemon are using Quick Attack against each other, whoever is slower will actually go first. But yeah, did y'all take a class, or are y'all just naturally good at commentating? So TGH and I have done years of speedrunning and doing marathon events and stuff. And Jacob has done a little bit of casting for locals here and there when they're not playing in their locals. Yeah, if there's only... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I also I kind of did take a class for it. I studied broadcast journalism at college, and so those skills transfer over.
Absolutely.
Nice.
For sure, yeah. If there's only TCG in your area, do you know how some places can get started hosting for VGC type events? That comes down to just asking your either tournament organizers or store owners, or the people who own or run the places where they have TCG events. Ask them about VGC and see if they're willing to take on a VGC event. Honestly, the worst that can happen is they say no, but it's worth a shot. And
yeah.
I feel like a lot of them would be willing to take on a VGC event, especially if their TCG events go well.
Red and blue colored events, regarding that location finder, red is always video game, blue is always trading card game. Another place you can, if you want to start getting VGC type events going on in your area, like Jay said, reach out to hobby stores, like card game and board game stores sometimes work. If you have an esports cafe near you, some places do. Reach out to the owners there, and they may be able to set you up. You don't necessarily have to be a certified judge or tournament organizer to start grassroots locals, but it is helpful if you want to get something sanctioned and listed on that event locator. You would want to find someone who can pass what we call the professor exam. Judges are professors in competitive Pokemon, both TCG and VGC, and that's a status that's required to have in officially sanctioned event, even if it is still a grassroots local. That's not worth like championship points or anything towards a Worlds invite. The website that I linked in chat as well, play.limitlesstcg.com/tournaments, you can actually find TCG and VGC tournaments online, so you can play. They usually have their rules written out, whether it's going to be best of 1, open team sheet, or closed team sheet, or best of 3. You can pre-register there and go check that out as well. That is a great place to get started playing against other players and getting used to that kind of environment. You can also go to Pokemon.com and find, or even just Google Pokemon Regionals 2024, and you'll be able to find the remaining locations of regionals that are remaining in this season, as well as I think you can also find on that site the international championships, such as EUIC or Europe, NAIC, which is North America, and I think, does Latin America still have their IC, or has it already happened?
I think it's happened.
Yeah, days are a blur. Time is a falsehood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be so honest, I don't know.
But yeah, also tell any tournament organizers that you have that they have to email Pokemon support to run Premier Challenge VGC events. If you can ensure that 4 people will show up, they will be definitely more willing to put in the effort to sanction your event. So if you can guarantee that more than 4 people or more will actually show up to your event, that'll work. But also just like if you've got a group of friends that are maybe interested in trying out, like you can like trying out VGC, you can also just kind of form your own personal like friend league, like make a game out of it, have a weekly or bi-weekly or even monthly meeting where you all play each other. You can use sites like Challenge, which is a self-hosted tournament site, or even I don't know what they used to be called, Smash.gg. That's not their name anymore. But you could do like, a self-contained tournament amongst yourselves to, thank you, LAIC already happened. Thank you. But yeah, you can sit down with your friends into your own personal league or, tournaments. Round robin is a format where you play everyone who's participating at least once, which is great when you've got like 4 or 5 friends. But yeah, and also a final reminder that you can't use rental teams at officially sanctioned Pokemon tournaments. So if you do find a rental team that you like, you'll want to build it in-game proper, and Scarlet and Violet makes that very easy these days, between hyper training with bottle caps, the vitamins being able to be used to max out your stats. Vitamins are worth 10 EVs each. There's nature mints and stuff like that. It's start.gg now. Thank you. But yeah. Will we see you all at Worlds? I have not been playing in this season at all. I am very much a casual VGC enjoyer, both as a viewer and a player. I kind of dabble when I can, when I have the ability to focus on it. I tend to spin too many plates for my ADHD to allow me to like really commit to VGC. I know that Jacob and Jay have been trying to, like... Jacob's trying to qualify for Worlds. Jay is just trying to see how many championship points he can earn within this season, because it's his first full season playing.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm treating this season, as just, like, trying to get acclimated to competitive play, and, like, I've been to a couple of regionals. I went to San Antonio, and I went to... Toronto before that, and I've accumulated some championship points from those. Like I think I have 68 now, because I got 8 from a local, and I went 5 and 4, got top 256 in Toronto and in San Antonio. But yeah, it's really not realistic for me to try to qualify for Worlds this year. But like, it's been fun getting used to the atmosphere, and just I've played some really good players. Like I played Joe Ugardi in Hartford. I played Nora Bowman in Toronto. I played Jonathan Duran in San Antonio. I feel like every regional I've gone to, I've played an elite player. So like I've definitely learned a lot in my journey. It's not realistic for me to qualify for Worlds, but maybe next year with the experience I gained from this season.
Yeah, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, and from my end, if all goes well in Orlando and Indianapolis, then yes. But also, yeah, the comment in chat too, like, even if I qualify for Worlds, it's a real big stretch to make it there, just because it's so expensive to get to. But also, as Chris mentioned in chat, and I want to make sure that is highlighted, if you do live in and around the greater Boston area, please do come to the Game Underground Locals in Waltham, Massachusetts at 7 p.m.
Thursdays starting at 7 p.m.
Thursdays is the day of the week it is.
That is how Game Underground is how TGH and I met Jacob and the rest of the Building Underground team building group. So shout outs to all of them. Any closing thoughts as we wrap things up? Jay, do you have any closing thoughts, and also shout outs and where people can find you and stuff like that?
Closing thought. Shout outs to the GU crew. I know that a lot of them are actually in chat right now. Shout outs to Chris, Anthony, Popos. There are, I think, a couple more of them. I think John was here earlier. And yeah, shout outs to Jacob, who's on commentary and who has become one of my best friends, honestly, through the VGC scene. And of course to Amber as well.
Yeah.
Who is the host of this show and my wonderful partner as well. I guess I'll say before I go, I do have a series on YouTube right now where I take obscure and underused Pokemon onto the ladder. For instance, this past week I took Malamar onto the ladder. The week before that I took Galvantula onto the ladder. Basically, it's a series where I take Pokemon that are chosen by my community in the YouTube comments and in community polls and stuff onto the ladder. I build teams around them myself, and then I play games with them and try to win with them. And I feel like that has made me a better team builder as time has gone on, and also a better player. But if you have time, check out Community Chaos on YouTube. You can check me out on YouTube. I'm just TGH on YouTube. I also stream on Twitch as well. I don't stream VGC that much, at least right now, but I'm kind of a variety streamer nowadays. I've been playing a lot of Celeste custom maps, if you're interested in that. I also play some Pokemon like challenge runs and stuff like that, if you're interested in that as well. But if Jacob, if you got anything to plug yourself and shout out?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, big shout outs, big thank yous to Amber and Jay for inviting me to be on. This has been so much fun. This is rad to just be a part of this. Both just talking about Pokemon, which I would have been probably doing in my head anyway tonight instead of here on the stream, but yeah, I'm honored that y'all thought of me. And yeah, this has been so much fun. Also the GU crew, of course, all the homies, y'all know who you are. I've seen a bunch of y'all in chat, which is rad. Yeah, you can follow me at Ember just through my Twitch in there. I haven't streamed in like a year. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheJacobLintner, just because I want more Twitter followers. But you can also feel free to hit me up there too. Just talk about Pokemon or talk about whatever. I'm always trying to just learn more about the game myself and get as many people involved as possible, because I think this game is awesome. But more than anything, the people that I've met playing Pokemon have been just incredible. And like Jay said, like he and Amber and everybody else who I met through Pokemon have become some of my best friends in this world, and it's just rad. The community for competitive Pokemon is, I mean, unlike any other large kind of group of people that I've ever been a part of, and so I want to get as many people who are interested in the game involved as possible and try to create those spaces.
Yeah, thank you both
but yeah,
so much for
likewise.
being on the show. I really appreciate it.
That's pretty much it.
Closing thoughts from me, it is never a bad time to get into Pokemon VGC. Consider checking out the regional streams that the Pokemon Twitch channel does. It's also a great way to, follow along, learn a lot. If you learned anything from this stream, tell your friends. If you learned anything, you can also take that with you to watching regionals and just kind of maybe you'll be able to follow the action a little better in the future if you've ever been confused by a regional stream. And I hope that you had fun. And this is something a little different from what I've ever done on Passion Project here. So it would mean the world to me if y'all just put out on Twitter that you really enjoyed the show. If you want to see more of what I do, I'm not streaming right now. I haven't streamed in like a year and a half, but I want to come back to streaming within the next month or so. I've been getting my my own tech, reset up for that because I have to update a lot of things, and I do my own graphic design. So if you want to watch me play various casual games, maybe Shiny Hunt a little bit. I'm a big Sonic player and speedrunner and dabble in a few different indie games and other things. Anyways, you can go check me out at twitch.tv/AmberCypher and let me know what you thought of the show. And if you missed out on AGDQ 2024 and you want to rewatch your favorite runs, like Tails Adventure, I commentated that. That was the 5th run of the event. It was great. Shout out to Mendezi. Check out our full playlist over on youtube.com/gamesdonequick. We will also be showcasing all of the event here on our Twitch channel leading up to our GDQ Hotfix shows this week. So if you, stick around after our live shows to relive the excitement on Twitch, we will be resuming our AGDQ 2024 replay with Pokemon Crystal coming up right after this, and tune in tomorrow for Hotfix for As Seen on TV, followed by Think Fast, which all starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. Until then, though, please look after yourselves and your loved ones. Drink some water, stretch your legs, eat a snack, take your medication or your vitamins if you need to, and remember that you are valid and deserve all the best. Send all of this wonderful positive energy over to our raid target. We're not even raiding. We're going to be rerunning our Pokemon Crystal. Send all of this wonderful positive energy to yourselves here in chat. And have a great rest of your night. Take care. And see